Monday night means fashion night. And welcome back, guys. We are here again to fillet everyone's style, though I don't think there'll be much filleting tonight because it's a bunch of suave gentlemen from over the years. As usual, we have in the room our resident fashion police, watch fashion police with their swords ready. First of all, we have Dirk Kennedy representing New York City.
New York.
How you doing, man?
Grand.
And below, representing Seattle, Washington, is Michaela de Chatillon, who has her own channel. Guys, sub to the channel.
I don't claim Seattle. I'm joking.
You're a little ashamed.
Seattle doesn't
Somebody
like
needs
me.
to.
Seattle doesn't like me.
Is that true?
Yeah. No.
Why? Are you not grunge enough, or?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you're bringing a bit of class and style to the city. I think they should appreciate that. Get them out of their denims and their flannels.
You would think, but there's only one way to be here. But I don't hate all of it. Washington State's amazing. It's just Seattle, the city. And then the culture of Seattle bleeds to all the smaller towns and cities, but it's okay. It's nothing that I can't survive, so I'm fine.
We best do a wristwatch check just as we get started. I'll go first. I have 3 watches to put on tonight, kind of staying with the theme of what we're talking about tonight. So I'm going to start with the Rolex Submariner. This is the no date, of course, the latest iteration. We will be looking at some of the earliest iterations of the Submariner. Not in heavy detail, guys. This is kind of a style show. I know there's a lot of tech episodes out there on the Bond watches. If you want to know every spec and so on, we kind of deal with things kind of in a general manner. So hope you don't mind that. But this is, of course, the Sub with the no date, also known as just the regular Submariner, 1240-60. What about you, Dirk? Doing the
usual tried and true. Yeah, tried and true Speedy.
Let's see her. Oh, it looks nice with that shirt as well. What's that shirt and tie you have on? You got dressed up for this occasion.
A little bit. I wore a tie. I wore a Turnbull and Astor black shirt, and I
fitting. So fitting.
I wore a black Gucci tie.
Jeez, I feel like a total hobo. You should have warned me, man. That's awful.
I was looking for a great tuxedo jacket I have, and I realized that I must have put it away, and I couldn't find it.
You look very dapper, man. Very stylish. Didn't know you wore black.
Great.
I just decided to do black on black.
Looks nice. I'm liking the beard and the hair and so on. It's all looking good, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
What about yourself, Michaela?
I'm wearing my Ballon Bleu de Cartier.
Oh, yeah.
The wretched ring light. But yeah, this has the brown dial. It's gorgeous.
It is, indeed.
I know you can't see anything, but...
You like big watches.
I do. I know there's a lot of feelings about that, but it depends. If the watch itself is really elegant, I like it. I like if it's bigger. If it's a bit like stark and structured, I like smaller. But it really just depends on each individual piece. It's just like the ambiance, the feeling it gives me. That's how I choose if I like it.
It's a gorgeous piece.
Gorgeous.
Watches Brian straight in trolling me. Look. Well, she's looking extra scruffy compared to the well-put-together Dirk and Michaela up, folk. Thank you for that.
He was partying all night, okay? Give him a break.
I was up all night. I don't know if you'd call it partying, but I was up all night. Let's get into it, guys.
I was trying to cover for you.
Thanks. We're looking at James Bond and the various watches from over the years and their style, if we want to talk about that. We, of course, have to start with the Gruen Precision. This is actually, a lot of people think that the first Bond watch ever seen in Dr. No, of course, with Sean Connery, was the Rolex Submariner. What was it? The 6538, I believe.
6538, yep.
Yeah, and of course, that did feature heavily, but actually, this was the first one to feature. Let me see if I'm just using I'm going to credit the other channels that I'm using here. But this was seen in this so Daisy. I'm looking for the shot now. This is where I have to go between screens. It was seen on at the famous scene there where he's gambling and he meets, I think, his first lover in that movie. Let me get to it. I'll do this window thing. Boom, 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 boom. Over here. Yeah, this is the
random.
scene.
It's a very random watch. It was made
Well, I didn't
Ohio,
realize
right?
that the first shot was a Gruen.
There it is, right there, just kind of peeking out from under the cuff, and it's this whole scene where he's at the table. What is the name of this actress? She's magnificent. Anybody know? It's the Precision 501 is the watch. So this is technically the first watch to be seen in James Bond. Isn't that a funny thing? Gruen, of course, went out of business in the 60s, I believe.
It's around today, right? Did somebody buy the name, or is it
I think
gone
that's
forever?
I don't think they
that's
make
the
watches.
Rolex.
She's
Do you
the
think that
Rolex.
was Connery's personal watch? It's a very random watch, I feel like.
They were big then, though. People wore Gruens. I mean, Bogey wore a Gruen, Bill Holden wore a Gruen. A lot of people. It was a big name. People wore them.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like what it is today with the Rolex, Omega, Patek. It just wasn't that at all. Didn't anybody wear Audemars Piguet back then? Excuse me, Audemars and Piguet.
I think they did, but it wasn't. Yeah. Listen, these are the early days of watches being seen on the silver screen for the first time. And I'm
Right.
sure it became the major vehicle for selling watches. You know, so many brands must have been dying to get there. This is, of course, Daniel Craig later. I'm dying to get to him, actually. All of the style, cute stuff that he wears is great. But anyway, this was the watch. It's now I can't find it anymore. There we go. The Gruen at that scene. A
It's
famous
a beautiful
scene.
watch.
It was the first time he ever said Bond, James Bond.
Oh, right.
It is a gorgeous watch. It's got those big 12, 3, 6, and the 9 is there. It's out of that shot.
Yeah,
And
it's
the small seconds is quite a large small seconds, actually. Back then, of course, it was more stylish to have the seconds hand kind of separate.
Sure. Small seconds.
Yeah.
That actress, by the way, his name is Eunice Grayson. Of course, she's forgotten to time considering that Ursula Andress was the main femme fatale in that movie, Honey Rider. So she was eclipsed by the magnificent Ursula Andress, but she is a stunner, though, isn't she?
Yes, of course.
So here's a
Fantastic.
question
So cool.
for Michaela. Why don't women wear their hair like that anymore? It's
I think about
freaking
that all the
magnificent.
time. I think about that all the time. If you wear your hair like that now, you look like
Yeah, like
like
your costume
like
party.
no, like you go to like a Russian Orthodox Christian church.
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I mean? Like it's just so outdated, unfortunately, and I absolutely love it. Like once in a
too.
while, I'll play around with it, and I just like feel like I can't leave the house like that because people just look at me like I'm in a costume. But I know what you mean. Even some of the the hairstyles over the decades. There's so many really intricate hairstyles, but you just can't anymore. It's so sad.
I mean, women used to get their hair done on a daily
Yeah.
basis. Now it's just everybody walks out of their door with wet hair.
You know,
Just seems like even you see the red carpet. Did they even go to a hairstylist? Did they even go
yeah,
to a hairdresser? Do they have one? I mean,
I
it's a
know.
lot of work. A
yeah.
lot of
It's like
makeup, a lot of work.
the undone hair. Oh, by the way, there's nothing wrong with Russian Orthodox Christian hair. I'm just
No,
saying.
Sure, I
That's
love
how
it.
it looks like. I'm just saying that's what it comes across as. I admire it greatly, and I like that they do their hair, they tease it, they put it in the pins, and yeah, it's cute. It's just something that unfortunately is outdated. But I love the whole like beehive look. It's so cool.
It's sexy. I think it's really
Yeah.
sexy.
It's so
It really
incredibly
is.
sexy, and not in a
Yeah.
Amy Winehouse exaggerated kind of
No, no.
beehivey way. I mean, that was obviously done for effect, but I mean, women wore their hair like that. There were so
I
many
know,
styles
I'm so
that they wore.
jealous. I'm so jealous.
Ah, you know, the 60s was a turning point for so many things in fashion. Men stopped wearing hats because of John F. Kennedy, because he was the first president in the history of America to not wear a hat. And then after that, hats were gone. So
Oh,
everything changed
It's so funny how quick that changes.
overnight. Well,
One influential person.
one guy.
The next
yeah.
watch that came up on the screen, of course, this is again
That's
the Gruen.
beautiful,
An
man.
old watch lady pointed out that Gruen actually went out of business, or at least stopped making watches in 1958.
Oh,
So this is really the real end of it, because Dr. No was 1962, correct? It is a
Yeah.
beautiful watch. That's not quite it there, because that doesn't have the numerals.
It's quite beautiful.
But the
though.
following watch, of course, was the sub. That's a mistake. That's a typo. It was the 6538.
6538, yeah.
Yeah, and with the big crown, no crown guards, but the very large crown. And this was, I think, the beginning of the badass watch on the silver screen. Before that, it was all very elegant stuff, Bogey and people like that. This was the first time people started seeing that kind of action sports look of a man's watch.
Is
Of
that
course.
what strap is that?
Well, he wore it on a NATO and on leather. That's on a NATO strap right
Yeah,
there.
I couldn't tell which one it was. Don't you
Yeah.
see that it's a little bit too small? Like
For
the
him,
strap. It's
sure.
No, the strap itself. It doesn't even cover.
Oh, yeah,
what
it's
are those?
true.
The lugs. What is that called?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
is
You know what I
small.
mean? There's like a little gap. It needs to be a little bit wider if you're gonna do that.
That wouldn't happen today.
Never.
Everyone's so peculiar about that. They just need they measure everything so perfectly. I guess back then things were still in the early stages. It was just like, oh, try this NATO. And it was a bit rough and ready. But that was well spotted actually. Yeah, it
Ugh.
was. Of course, he used it in the following movie. What was the one after that? It was
You Only Live
From
Twice.
Russia with Love.
Oh, Rush with Love is number 2, yeah.
Yeah, and he sets off a bomb with the thing. So that it was the beginning of the idea of gadgets connected to your watch. What's he doing here? Opening the bottle. Oh, he's cooling the champagne.
Was that a Tatange?
It looked like a Tatange.
The bottle shape did.
Can we talk about this suit for a second, just to
Oh,
talk about
God.
style?
Ugh.
I mean, first of all, you're
Anthony
talking about hats. There's gentlemen in the background
Sure.
wearing hats.
It was 60. This is 1963. So, gentlemen, were just stopping the hat thing because Kennedy, was newly elected. Was only president for a couple of years.
Mhm.
But look at the suiting. Bond was a big thing. Now, people don't know that there was a company in New York called Bond. Had nothing to do with James Bond, but that was where most of the businessmen got their suits at Bonds. Art Schaffner and
that's
Marx
interesting.
and all these different. If you watch Mad Men, they'll go through anything about the making of Mad Men. They'll talk about how the designers on the show would go back to the Bonds archives to look at all the different cuts of suits. And now a lot of them are called the President Kennedy because they were these very small lapel, very small notch lapel, very tightly cut suits with either a single or a double vent in the back, usually gray because Kennedy wore gray a lot, or navy, never black. Beautiful. Absolutely
Yeah.
stunning.
This is the Anthony Sinclair tailoring, beautiful.
Gorgeous.
And the
Absolutely.
Turnbull and Asser shirt. Dirk,
Sure,
you
of
picked
course.
well today. I think he's wearing a Turnbull and Asser tie as well.
Yeah, probably.
We got to get you a couple of those. Well,
I have one Turnbull and Asser bow tie. I don't
is
have
it
a
the
Turnbull-
velvet? Is it the velvet one?
No, it isn't. It's
I
silk.
bought the velvet one from there as a gift for somebody, and they've never worn it, but it's so pretty.
We'll get to it later on, but I remember when Casino Royale came out, Turnbull and Asser at Saks Fifth Avenue were selling the Casino Royale shirt combination that Daniel Craig wore in that, and that shirt might be the most beautiful white crisp shirt I've ever seen in my life.
We're
Yes.
definitely getting to it. Now, in his breast pocket, he has that same fold we were mentioning the last time. Did you call that the president fold or presidential?
Yeah, the
fold?
presidential fold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clean
Again,
cut.
looks like somebody slipped a note in his
Yeah,
his breast pocket. To me, at least that's the way it looks.
he's
Very
tall,
nice.
he's handsome, he's fit, he's Bond. Clothes look good on this man.
Indeed.
And so many people's favorite Bond until Daniel Craig.
I think even so, even as much as I love Daniel Craig, I think Connery is the quintessential Bond, and he always will be. I mean,
You notice
closest
something
we
there,
ever got.
Michaela, about the watch with your sharp eye. You notice something odd about the watch in that shot?
I can barely see it.
Oh, you
The
can
screen's
barely see it. It's really, really
Sorry.
small.
It is dark.
Okay.
Oh, I can zoom a little bit.
Is that any better?
Mm,
The crown is out.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
You
just
had your
like me.
crown out on one of your
I
watches there
know.
recently,
I'm
and the crowd
so-
were freaking out.
I'm so sorry, everybody. Please forgive me. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the thing is, I was just playing with it, and then I was like, yeah, they were right. They're right. But don't worry, I sorted it out. I wasn't gonna leave it like that.
This was such the beginning of that again. Like, he's wearing a beautiful suit. It's all super class, and then this badass watch, kind of as a juxtaposition almost. We're used to this kind of thing, but I've been asked many times, hey, can I wear a sub or a Mega Seamaster to a wedding? I'm always like, yeah, if it's good enough for Bond, it's good enough for anyone else. Look at these straight lugs on this thing. It's a beauty. Back then, subs, of course, were 38, 39 mils. They wore it even smaller than the current iterations. But yeah, an important watch. This, of course, is the one where he sets off the bomb. That's a better shot of that NATO not quite fitting, revealing those pins. It's a bit sloppy looking.
It
so
is.
slutty.
Andrew says the watch strap was actually a 16 millimeter Zulu. How's that? I love our crowd. I love our crowd's knowledge. Thank you so much, Andrew.
So that would have been a 20 mil lug to lug then. So you've got 2 mils on either side. That thing would have swam from side to side a little bit.
Sure. It does look shitty, doesn't it?
It does.
It really does. And you never noticed it before until we really microscopically went in there. But wow, what a boo-boo that is. But NATO still look the same.
Yeah. And the 12 o'clock and the bezel isn't lined up either. So the OCD comes out, immediately.
Maybe he was timing, he was doing something. Earlier, we don't know about. Maybe was he timing the bomb?
Maybe that's what it was, and he was watching it come up in time right after that shot. That bomb goes off. Oh yes, this I should mention Pussy Galore because of course it's not all about.
I must be
Bond
dreaming.
Himself. She would wear a GMT Master 2, reference 6542, which was also a very juxtaposition thing. Look at her. This looks like some sort of silk or satin top or something.
Does.
And that big, aggressive looking watch on the wrist. You a fan, Michaela?
Yes, I am actually.
Oh.
So that's actually supposed to be a female, right? This shot, that's not.
It's Pussy Galore.
Yeah,
That's
no, I'm
Pussy
just double
Galore.
checking.
I
It's
must
just
be
really
dreaming.
close up. No, I like it. I feel like it's badass.
Honor Blackman. She just recently left us.
Oh, she did.
She did. Yeah.
You know who else wears a GMT Master like that, a vintage one? Drew Barrymore.
Oh
You
yeah,
see her
all the time.
on her unwatchable show. It's
So bad.
I can't stand it. But every now and then she puts her hand up like to her chin, a bit like I do, and then you see the GMT, vintage GMT Master 2 on there. It's very cool. But that was kind of revolutionary, to see a woman like that with there's the Gruen back again. Oh, and he's doing the French ends there.
Yeah.
Your favorite.
French cuffs.
They're not too
Nice and
dramatic.
tight there though. Look at that.
Yeah,
That's a slight
yeah.
pinch. That looks good.
Yeah, I know what bothers you is the extra
Is the
fabric
big-
sticking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when
And that
it's
can look
overly
cool
done.
sometimes. I know what you mean. I've been thinking about it.
If it's way too pinched, way too pinched.
Yeah.
But that looks great, actually.
very
and,
tidy,
and
yeah.
cufflinks are beautiful, and we get to wear them, and it's jewelry, and
Looks great with the watch as well.
yeah,
That Gruen is probably 34 mil, 31 or 34
Sure.
mil.
yeah.
That was the size of the day, which was another thing as well. I mean, the watches were so much bigger. Even the 6538 would have been a big watch at the time. Watches were so small and elegant.
Nice
back
feel
then.
the original Felix Leiter.
Now we're moving on to Thunderball. Did we skip the other one? What was it? From Russia with Love. No, that was it. We're going on to Thunderball. Let's move ahead because we have a lot to get through. Breitling Top Time. This is a watch now that came without this monstrosity, this enormous cushion case.
You're
Yeah.
so ugly. So bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Why? Is it just
I mean,
supposed to look
inside
like
it's a
futuristic?
beautiful watch. It doesn't have to have the cushion case.
Right. Well,
But,
that's the problem, though. It's not the watch;
yeah.
it's the case. Why is it trying to look like futuristic a little? Like I'm not getting it. Like a gadget, something like that.
Yeah, was that sold like that?
That's a different
retail?
Breitling there. It was sold like that, I believe, and it was sold without. Let me see if I can pull up a photo.
It was
of
the
that.
space race era. Everybody was doing super futuristic designs.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, back then that probably looked really cool, right?
I'm sure it did. I mean, he was just doing the 6538 all the way up until till
It was
Thunderball, right?
reappearing and
Goldfinger. It was the same watch and everything. Maybe a little bit of Gruen here and there, but this was the first time he changed it up. And how the hell did Breitling get in there? Wow.
Well,
it looks
Breitling,
pretty good. It looks pretty good on the inside.
Yeah.
Like the dial itself, the chronograph.
Breitling will
It's good.
always have that problem, won't they? They'll always have that issue. Just never quite there.
I mean, there's no comparison. I've seen it. I can't find a photo right now on the spot, but I've seen that watch on the bracelet without any of this cushion. But yeah, again, I suppose it's to protect the watch and make him look even more badass. I'm not into it. Really.
No, we can say it. It's ugly. It's really ugly. Yeah,
That's a different Breitling.
they're trying
now.
to do
That's
something different.
yeah. This is a Navi timer you're looking at here. And this was the beginning of the gadgets kind of thing with these watches. So they started using them for magnets and so there was all sorts of stuff. We'll get to those. Look how much that watch was featured in that shot, though. It's incredible.
Oh God!
Now we're back to the.
Look at that! Look at that NATO. Woo! God, that's bad.
Do you
I'll
like?
never
the NATO
unsee
strap?
that.
Do you like
Yeah.
the NATO strap? I mean, even if
I
it's
hate
fit-
NATOs. Hate them.
Yeah, not a fan either.
I've never liked them. I don't like them when they fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't like them, and I think
Well,
NATO guys are of a certain. It's like it's a thing. It's you're a certain kind of guy likes NATOs.
What kind of guy?
Just a type of guy. I don't want to insult anyone.
I was
I
trying
just
to get it
feel
out
like
of
you know what the idea behind a NATO is great. You get to mix and match, and of course, I love. I'm a speedy guy, so I love strap monsters. I like the concept. I just don't like the way they like. This is like a single pass NATO, right? Look how it's flat.
Yes.
This, if it fit correctly, lug to lug, it would be great. I like how this fits nice, but the modern NATOs are they make the watches sit so high that I think it ruins the cuff presence.
There are different ways of tying it.
I guess there
There are
are. I
different.
could tie
Yeah,
it.
there are. There are different ways. I'm going to do a video on it myself. I'm sure there are a few more out there where you can tie it through and it goes through twice, and quite often it can thicken up a watch by quite a considerable amount. And then there's a different way of tying it where you basically bundle all the extra stuff on the other side of your wrist. It's all down there, and then it's one pass going through the watch. The advantage, of course, with a NATO, the whole idea is that one side of the watch can come loose if the pin breaks, and you don't lose the watch. The watch will still hang on the other side on the NATO. So that way you don't lose your watch. You can take it off, stick it in your pocket if that happens. Whereas if one side of this bracelet breaks, the entire watch comes away and you lose it. So if you're at sea or whatever, forget it. It's gone down there. It'll sit at the bottom and tick away until it rusts or whatever. So that's the whole idea. I don't mind NATO so much, but I have to admit, I have some beautiful, I don't wear them. I have some beautiful NATOs. I don't wear them. It's just one of those things. But they are sporty and you can get them wet. And most watch collectors have like 10,000 of these things in different colors. It's also a novelty that you can get different flags. You know, when Ukraine was invaded there, a lot of people were going around with blue and yellow, and their NATO straps and so on.
They fixed the problem. I'm sorry.
Shut up.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. No, it's just like the Facebook, remember all this stuff and people change their Facebook profile picture to the French flag and all that.
Oh yeah.
You did it. You saved it.
You did it.
It's on the news. It's not like people aren't aware of what's going on. You're not really bringing attention. Anyway, whatever.
I stand with Susie. Yeah, I know the whole Facebook thing. I don't know about any of you guys. I'm still on there, but I don't say anything ever to anybody.
I've been on Facebook in ages.
I just don't care.
I feel like if you go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead. I have nothing to say.
No, I'm just saying. I feel like Facebook's good. I guess if you have family overseas or something. I don't, so I don't use Facebook, and I don't talk to extended family. So it's I have no reason to be on there. But that's the only way I could see it being useful, a way to connect with them. But I don't know. Remember back in the day, people used to add everybody on Facebook. You would have 1,000 strangers. It's so weird.
So Tuesday we got off the plane, and then we got in a cab, and then we went to the hotel, and then this is our first day at the beach, and it's a documentary of every fucking move you make, and we all did it. I'm just as guilty. Holidays in Europe, and And then I thought to myself, you narcissistic ass.
Oh.
Like, wow. Like, do you really think anyone cares? People think that when they're putting all that stuff up, that the world at large is interested. And that's weird. So I just walked away from that. Plus all the politics. It's just so
I think,
boring.
yeah. I think, like I said, if it was just your family and you wanted your grandma to see
Sure.
your little thing and she loves it so much, like I get it in that sense.
That's cute.
with,
Yeah. Oh my
with
God.
strangers on it. No, I know that social media just.
Be careful.
I have such a war in my mind
Ferris.
with it.
Don't walk down that street, darling.
I don't know if you guys know this, but this is not an episode of the Eye Bashers.
Oh, sorry.
All of a sudden, it sounds
And the
like
fashion on Facebook is just detestable.
Yeah, the watches are so bad.
Sandals on men.
In 1967, of course, was the first Casino Royale. I have never seen this film.
Because it's
Starring
absolute
David
shite.
Niven.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
a parody. It's a total parody. It's got Ursula Andress. I mean, it's got unbelievable cast of crazy people in this. Orson Welles. My God. Yeah. Because they didn't have
Ian
the
Fleming.
rights to Casino Royale until they made the version with Daniel Craig, because Cubby Broccoli had partnered up with, I forget the guy's name off the top of my head. You guys will know instantly, but the guy that wrote Thunderball, that co-wrote the screenplay for Thunderball, actually had the rights for Casino Royale. Somehow he got a hold of them.
Oh.
And upon his death, his estate settled with Dan Jack, with the Broccolis, and they finally were able to make. They never were able to make Casino Royale. They wanted to, but this guy sold the right, leased the rights out to this. To who directed that? Did Woody Allen? I believe he did direct that, right?
Woody
Yeah.
Allen?
Woody Allen's in it.
Yeah. I don't know if he directed it. I didn't
So
watch
it's
it.
truly farce.
I didn't want it to ruin Casino Royale for me.
Right. Right. Well, anyway, it was GMT Master 2. GMT Master, so excuse me, there wasn't the 2 yet, which was the famous Pan Am GMT watch. Beautiful. This is, of course, the Pepsi. Blue and red. Blue for nighttime, red for daytime. And nice to see that, which, of course, I believe that was the original watch that Ian Fleming had written into the franchise. As
Absolutely,
the
he
Bond
did.
Watch. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But we'll skip past it.
Woody Allen was just in it. He didn't. Peter
I was
Sellers,
just in
Ursula
it.
Andress, David.
You're
Niven,
thinking
Woody
of
Allen.
What's Up, Pussy?
What's Up, Pussycat? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in it though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So now,
terrible.
so now it's George Lazenby for
That
moving
is
onward.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Now, on reflection, one of the best Bond films ever made. And at the time, people just didn't appreciate it. Was he one of the best Bonds? Absolutely not. Was it one of the best movies? Definitely.
Really,
Fantastic movie.
I haven't seen it in so long. I saw them all when I was a kid.
It's great. He
He
gets
was a
married.
big Connery fan. He gets married, of course. I remember that part.
Diana Ross.
He was a big Connery fan, and actually, for the audition, called to see what suits Connery would normally wear, and got one. And
Body
also
500,
bought,
I'm sure, right? Were they-
yeah, and he bought a sub, a Rolex sub, to kind of
Oh, he did.
complete the image. Yeah,
He showed
and then
up
landed
and
the
pretty
role.
much demanded an
Yeah.
audition.
And
He's
he
already
wasn't an
dressed
actor.
Like him. He's like,
Yeah.
look, it's me. I'm Bond. Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, but apparently
Well, he
was
had
horrible to
the
work
build.
with.
He had the build. I mean, how
Did.
good of an actor do you have to be for these? Honestly, I
Roger
mean,
Moore. Not
yeah,
so good.
not so
Apparently
great.
he had
You
no
have to be
acting
slender.
experience at all.
He's so. We'll get
He's
into
slender.
the whole
He's
Roger
got
Moore
he's
just-
got the dimple in his chin, a little cleft in his chin. That's really like casting directors love that shit, you know.
Oh,
I know he wears a suit well.
a skin having a cleft in your chin can be make or break for an actor. It can be a real great thing.
There's a handsome devil. Come on, and
Yeah,
he kind of has a little bit of Sean Connery looks.
Does, but he's got a bit of a brute to him. I believe he was a bouncer. I think that was his vocation before he became Bond. I think he was a bouncer.
Really?
Yeah.
Was
Look
he
at that
pretty
big
young?
Pit. You could stick like an apple
Yeah.
pip in that, and it would just stay there. That's
Yeah,
such a
it's
rare
Quite
thing.
the cleft. Quite the cleft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going for slightly Lord Fauntleroy there with the.
Yeah, that's
Front.
that's where it all starts to go wrong. You
But
know?
the French
Yes,
cuff isn't so
daring.
bad.
Yeah, it's a bit. I don't know. Just
So I
it's
think-
just feminized.
Yeah, I think the combination of the ruffles and the cuff and everything. It's very loud. I think this was definitely the first really like flamboyant look for
is.
Bond.
It is.
And yeah, I think he definitely can pull it off because he's got the body. He's very athletic. He's tall, But yeah, it's very fashiony. I think that took Bond to a more fashion.
You guys are saying he
yeah,
was a model.
Yeah, he was a model. Yeah, he's Australian, right? Wasn't he
Yeah.
super young? And he looks like a lot older than he is. Was
Men
that
just
him?
looked, and people were older then. People,
Yeah, I didn't
people
notice
were just
that.
older. 40-year-old people looked like they were somebody's grandma and granddad back then. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I love that sub just peeking out from
Oh,
under the cup.
that
That's
is-
my
oh.
dream. Like
Peekaboo.
I
That's my
just-
favorite
yeah.
sport.
I just love that. Like it's such a shame when a watch is hidden away. When it peeks out like that. Oh yes.
Such a tease. You
Yeah.
tease.
And again,
that's
with
very
what he's
sexy.
wearing, with that
Yeah.
sport hard looking steel watch under what he's
Yeah.
wearing, it's kind of suggestive, isn't it? It's very cool.
It's when bow ties started to get unstructured. I'm not a fan of them. I like really small, tight, symmetrical bow ties, and then they started to get unstructured, and then they just became super floppy in the 70s. And they
Oh,
just look like big
70s.
mustaches, like droopy porn mustaches.
No,
Oof.
men's formal style in the 70s was a time period to remember. Let's just
It
say that.
was, yeah.
So
And it's
bad.
funny because there were a couple of guys that did it right. Halston, and later on, Tom kind of stole what Halston did and took the best of it, the cuts, some of the fabrics, but he also incorporated some of that early 60s sensibility too, which was great because if you just look at any film from 1970 to 1975, the menswear is just grotesque. Terrific.
Yeah, it really is.
That's a model
Okay.
one they're showing there. So
Yeah,
here's
there's
the
a lot-
interesting thing. They got Connery back, right? For the next one.
Well,
My
Maybe
yes.
they had to. They had to kind of.
Well, they begged him. They
For
begged him
Diamonds
for
Are
Diamonds Are
Forever.
Forever. Yeah.
Well,
Because this didn't quite work out.
yeah, he refused to do more films, to sign a contract. He thought that Bond didn't fit his personal lifestyle and that he was going to make it big as an actor with better roles, and he never did. I mean, he tried, but apparently he regrets it. Well, I don't know if he's still alive, but at like Comic-Con conventions, people would meet him, and he would say it was a mistake that he didn't continue as Bond. So I feel like they kind of had to get Connery back. Like, what were they going to do? I guess if you're expecting another film, they needed someone. And even though Connery didn't look his best in this next one, I think he did have more energy than he did in the previous one. So it was Diamonds Are Forever, right? That was the one after this.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it looks like he was having fun with it and enjoying his role, that was good.
It did.
Prior
Unfortunately,
one
Lee
was
St.
awesome.
John's in it.
Before we leave Lazenby behind, he did have a pre-Daytona chronograph from Rolex.
Oh, yeah.
This is a very interesting watch.
6238.
The dial's mesmerizing.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at that up close, it's just so beautiful.
And really interesting, the tachometer is on the inside of the dial around the rehaut.
Yeah, look at that.
That's pre-Daytona. It just said chronograph.
I'd like that.
Yeah, I'd like that too. You know how much they're worth if you
I'd
can
like
find them.
that. That is a sleek, sexy looking Rolly, man. Oof.
Mhm.
You see
That
if
is
I can
beautiful.
find a nicer shot of it here somewhere.
The worst
There it
part
is.
about the Diamonds Are Forever is that, Sean Connery, we all know, was bald and he wore a toupee. It was so obvious in that film.
Aw.
He had the worst because the men's hairstyles, when in the 60s, if you were bald, you'd get a flat, very flat toupee. But now you have to have a little bit of height, like Burt Reynolds and Sinatra. And they started to look really fake. Toupees got really bad. Oh, that's. Ugh.
So pretty.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That's crazy.
I'm not sure his one had the red seconds hand.
Oh, but I
still,
love that. Mm.
Yeah.
What does that go for now?
Ugh, don't even ask. I don't know.
The
I have no clue.
6238 pre-Daytona. Oh, God.
I mean, if you can find one.
Look at that pretty simple Gruen.
Yeah, the Gruen comes back in Diamonds Are Forever. Kind of boringly, I think it's kind of a step backward.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's because that's what he wore for sport and that's what he wore with the tuxedo. Dress Watch, when he was drinking champagne and Vespers.
I feel
Martini
like it's a
shaken,
little,
not stirred.
a little boring after the interesting pieces we saw after that.
Oh, I want that. Oh man. Oh, live and let die. And this is where the just
This is when things start getting really messed up, man.
messed up.
Oh my god.
We go Pulsar and Seiko and
Oh god.
the smoothest James Bond in the history of the world. It's like the skin of a baby. And he was already too old for the role. He was too old.
What
I
age was
never-
he?
Oh, he was well into his 40s. I think whenever they cast a Bond, he's always around 36 to 38. I think he was already in his 40s when they cast him. It's a good question.
he-
Anybody know what age he was when they cast him? He was already the Saint. So he'd already done a spy of sorts.
Burrs, I totally agree. What a stunning girl. She looks like a living doll. Beautiful. This scene, of course, he checks the time. You see, there's a lot, and he
That's so
presses a
stupid.
button, and the time comes up.
I hate it so
Oh.
bad.
Boy,
Great theme song, though.
It's an alarm clock.
Sure.
We didn't even mention, some of the greatest themes of all time, and all of them were Shirley Bassey.
Because we'll talk about that the entire show. We'll take
True.
up the entire show. Isn't it funny? Like, this thing looks like it's out of 2001 Space Odyssey.
It does.
This is the beginning of digital watches. And I guess at the time that looked great. All digital stuff just ages so quickly, man. It's so bad. I'm so glad they don't feature Apple Watch as much in movies. You see it on TV all the time, but you don't see it because it's going to look so bad. He also used this Submariner that had a magnet, you see. Picks up the spoon.
It's so useful.
I'd like
He
that.
Look
turns
at
the
that.
bezel a little and then he's able to grab things from afar. Look. Very cool.
Like, what were they thinking when they cast him as Bond? He was always drunk and not in the best way. He always looked slight. He wasn't the most
This
masculine
thing
guy.
spun as well. I forgot about
Yeah.
that. Oh, it's a 5513, man. That's probably one of the sexiest subs of all time.
It won't cut you as well as a new Omega, though.
The man with the
Yeah,
golden gun
Roger
is
Moore's
next.
not my favorite.
No, he's the
He was
worst.
not my favorite. I loved him in The Saint, but not this.
This one,
Sure,
of course,
he was
had big
appropriate
crown
there.
guards
Yeah, exactly. He
protecting
doesn't
the
look like
crown.
Bond.
Wasn't a large crown. It had crown guards protecting it, which is nice. Of
Little
course, a
nuts.
watch never ever did this. I wonder are these watches out there somewhere? Because this is clearly like there was no such thing as CGI. This is actually happening.
Sure.
So
this
at
is
some point they
practical
got in and
effects.
put a
can you
motor.
go back to that?
What do you mean?
When he starts the rotor. It was pretty cool how they actually made this practical effect work. Look at that. Oh,
Starts
that's
up, look.
very cool.
I mean,
That is
how are they able to fit it into the watch? You can see the whole bezel and so on, the dial elevated a little bit, like they
Sure.
glued it all together, put a little motor in it. How is that motor charged? Like, what are we looking at? Or were there wires off outside the shot? Like, how are they able to achieve that? It's almost cool
One of
in
you need to
itself.
recreate that. Recreate that. That'd be so cool.
The
That is pretty
spinning
crazy.
dial. It's nuts,
Christopher
man.
Lee. Look at that.
And
Golden
I mean,
gun.
that never existed either. That is a sandwich dial. We find it
Sure.
again.
Well, it's a sandwich style because of this. Right.
Yeah, because it changes color.
Could change his color, right? And it
They had
ain't
to get
Loom.
in and rebuild these. I mean, did they have help from Rolex, or did they just buy a bunch of these and just gut
They
them?
might have. They might have. I doubt it though, because that was just what. I mean, they might have. I don't know. There wasn't back in those days. There wasn't that much product participation and placement. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was the early days of
Yeah,
it.
it was the early days.
Yeah, and the new Bond films or the previous ones with like Daniel Craig, there's so much. Gillette razors, all that kind of
All
stuff.
right, Gillette razors for the smoothest.
Which
shave.
apparently are not even that good. So I
uh,
wouldn't. I don't know, but
the
that's what I
worst
heard.
razors. Sheen, did you? I mean, like, neither of us have been shaving like a baby lately, but
No.
I did for many, many years, and I love a straight razor or an actual razor blade, because I found those disposable razors, they're the Gillette ones, and they're all just crap instantly. Back in the safety razors that you'd put the razor blade in and you'd screw it shut and it would cantilever down. Those are incredible. One blade cuts all. Now it's like 5 blades for $70.
Hmm.
Garbage.
Moving forward, we have the Man with the Golden Gun. Is that correct? What was after this one?
Live and
Yes.
let die. Man with the Golden Gun, 74.
And
Christopher
he
Lee.
has the King Midas on, I think, the Rolex
Yeah.
King Midas. Looks like that, at least, which was an Elvis watch. Back
Yeah.
again to these little slivery watches.
Yeah.
Gold. Kind of. Look at that gun as well. It's so cheesy. It's so bad, man.
So bad. Look at how fat his tie is. It's like the widest tie there is, man. The 70s,
true.
the tie's
Yeah,
got
no. So bad.
ginormous.
Yeah. It's so bad.
Didn't someone else do Roger Moore's suits? Someone like Dimmy something. I think some tailor. and
Great
they're
trivia. I
so
think he brought
bad.
his own tailor, as eventually
Yeah.
Daniel Craig did, because he was
I know.
Brioni in the first one. But we'll get there.
I'm missing.
We're back to 5513 again here. Looking slick, man. Good looking watch. A beaut.
That's a beaut.
Old vintage. I think he looks at the time here. He's checking the time. Oh yeah, this is the okay. Now we're moving on to The Spy Who Loved Me.
This is
This
the
is when
worst thing
things
ever.
get really bad. This is when Seiko Seiko was the big
Oh my
thing
God.
at the time. Now I have to change my watch. I have to put on a Seiko. I don't have anything that looks like that. Okay, I don't even
Good.
have the Casio. The what was it? The F91. That everyone seems to have one of those because they're like $10 and it's a classic. But I'll put on this one. I don't know, Dirk, if I've ever showed you this watch. This is affectionately known. It's not the actual name for it. It's the GA 2100, but it's G-Shock. So it's in that kind of family, extended family. But this is known as the Casio because it looks like a
Casio.
royal oak. It looks like a
Casio.
royal oak.
Hilarious.
And even though I don't have a beautiful shirt on, I'll never forgive you for not warning me about that, by the way. I'm kidding. At least it all matches up now. It's all black. Looks good to me, though, huh?
It
Yeah, it's cool.
does.
It's cool.
It
We
looks like
see it
you're
a lot
about
of
to
clothes,
do
too.
some rappelling or something, like free. What was it? What would they do in Casino Royale? What was the name of that kind of sport? Free roaming, free jumping. The
look,
opening scene of Casino Royale. It's very athletic looking.
It makes these funny sounds. I have no idea how to set the thing, by the way.
Parkour. They're doing
Parkour.
parkour, jumping off
Parkour.
buildings.
And
Rolling
check it out. It
around.
has a
Yeah.
light. It has a light. How Bond is that? It's got a light.
Oh,
It's got little or no lume, but it's got a light.
I mean, it's got a. It doesn't illuminate much though.
No, it doesn't really. It's enough in the dark, in the absolute dark. Like if you wake up in the middle of the night, then then it works. Just like lume, you don't need lume to be that bright because your eyes have adjusted.
Mm,
But yeah, the Casio isn't that a funny one? You've never seen me wear that because I
never,
actually have some real Royal Oaks.
because you do have a Royal Oak.
Yeah.
To go back to Michaela's comment about Roger Moore, here's a little bit of trivia. Sean Connery had the consistency of being dressed by Anthony Sinclair for all 6 of his Bond films. Roger Moore ran into trouble because he had 3 different tailors over his 7 Bond films. Cyril Castle, he did The Saints, Persuaders, etc., etc. Then the producers insisted on Angelo Vitucci, and then that was a disaster for The Spy Who Loved Me. So then they went back to Douglas Hayward, who was a big Hollywood designer. They just couldn't seem to find the right fit for him in suits because his weight fluctuated so much.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
Interesting. So
Yeah,
she picked that out of the air, and it's all completely true.
Yeah, the
Wow.
70s style too, like the flare trousers on the suits, so
Ugh.
bad. I know they didn't do it too dramatic, but I don't know.
Double-breasted everything.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it look okay. Like, okay, this person looks cool. They can pull it off. But
Yeah.
and it's sad. It's Bond. It doesn't look like Bond. You know,
I love
it's
that
just-
jacket, that fat ass. Look at that giant window pane gray with the red. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like that. I think
But wait,
that's.
his cuffs. What's that? Are his cuffs up to right now?
It looks like a one-button pull cuff. He's definitely got French. The cuff is the problem, but I love the fabric. I actually have a jacket that looks very similar to that, and it's Botany 500. That was one of my dad's. It was from like 1962. That's the one I used to wear for Trieste weather. Trieste. I love that jacket. That's the only thing about the 70s that I liked was the window panes. They had great window panes then. And great houndstooth. And he was never believable as a lover. You know, like Sean Connery was going to take a woman, you know, and they would surrender. You could just, you know, because he was so handsome. This guy, there's nothing remotely attractive really about him. He looks old and weathered and paunchy and boozy. And the way he just beds women just seems so implausible to me.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like you'd
Yeah,
be
I
like,
mean-
absolutely not.
No, I mean, a suave older guy is great. It's just
Sure.
that he does seem like you say like a little drunk, like just like kind of sloppy, like he's gonna sweat on you. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's not pulling it off. He smacked some women, you know, which is
Well, so did Sean Connery, and he admitted
So-
it.
right.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, right.
Yeah. To me,
I don't know.
Roger Moore looks like that old persnickety queen at the old gentleman's gay bar that just doesn't give up, and you have to swat him away.
Oh goodness.
Oh my god! You're
That's
gonna
what it-
swat him away.
Just keep swatting him away. No, darling. No, darling.
In this scene, this thing prints out a little message. I mean, how cheesy is that, man?
I know. They
That's-
couldn't have like thought of a message on the screen of the watch. You couldn't have thought of
Look at that.
Like it can be CGI, but
This one's a little better. And if you're
Yeah,
into
it is.
Seikos, like
Little
these
bit.
are iconic Seikos, and they,
Sure.
you know, some collectors are going mad about this stuff. Now, I have to say something here. Are you guys seeing it? It's halfway up his arm.
It's ridiculous. What is that?
Why is it up halfway up his arm? Like what?
It's got a very bony looking
Yeah, like a knuckle
was he
there.
taking it off? Is
like
that
a
why? though?
knuckle.
No, that's not why. He just turns
The whole
he turns it
time, is
around
it?
here.
What do
Let
you
me
call
see.
those
Some people
machines?
wear look, some people wear their watches there.
Oh,
They'll never
they
get
shouldn't.
over
Because it doesn't fit properly, and they're just putting it at a point where they can actually close it and keep it. I know that because I've borrowed a lot of men's watches from
Uh-huh.
them, and I have to do that, otherwise they won't stay. And I'm not going to mess with their watch and like adjust it. But the
Paul
thing
likes
is,
to
it
wear
should
his
have.
watch.
Hey guys, look at my beautiful watch.
It's all the way down your arm.
Look, it's not beautiful. Look at a wrist.
That
Do you
look
have
looks
nice,
so
support
good.
toes?
a nice
Go with
wrist roll. Look.
Can you
Oh,
get it up a little more?
that's great.
You can do the Rihanna cuff though around the bicep. That'd be cute.
Yeah, I can put it up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what
it's
she does?
cute. With the Jacob. No, I'm just saying
no,
she's
she had
starting
it
a
around her
trend.
neck.
She's
Remember
starting a
last
trend.
week she had it
of
around her
putting it-
neck as a choker.
Boy.
Yeah. We'll put it in the wrong
Oh,
spots now.
Boy.
I'm gonna start.
label
I'm gonna start
maker.
doing this on my Instagram just to see how freaked out people get. Look at that for a wrist shot. Ooh.
That's a forearm roll.
I mean, I don't
So
know if I
funny.
had a big weird knuckle like that. I don't know which side I would wear it on though, because one side is on his hand,
Yeah.
and the other side is on his arm, and he can't wear it on the knuckle. But actually, I tend to push watches beyond the knuckle, between the hand and the knuckle, so they're really truly on my wrist, at the very end of my wrist.
Me too. I wear them all at the end.
Anyway, this is the beginning. Things were getting fancy now, and this watch was the reference M354 memory bank with calendar. So they had the day of the week on there, guys. It was a revolution. Wow, right? So the time and the day of the week and the month and all of that stuff. I believe this thing had a microphone in it or something like that.
For dictation.
says-
Money
It says
penny.
Money Penny. It says it's Wednesday there. And I guess at the time this stuff looked, kind of cool.
It
People were
was
like,
for the time. It
"Wow."
was the future. It is digital. Very exciting. We've gone back. We
looks
like
like a
records. We
calculator.
like vinyl. We like analog. We love all that stuff, but this was the future. Quartz was the future.
Yeah.
You know, it keeps the best time to this day. It's better
Of
than
course.
every
Well,
movement in the
yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
we've
the
got
bracelet
Daily
isn't
Choco.
bad.
Oh, look at that!
Bracelet's
Oh,
not bad. And now
she's
it's
got-
gadgety. He's doing
Oh.
gadgety now.
how,
He's
do you,
taking
where
out
do you
a
keep the
bomb.
refills for the label maker? Oh, this is a fishing line.
You
Oh, this
can't
is for-
ask about that.
Yeah, right. Look at that. Is this for strangulation? Oh, this is Moonraker. Yet
I think
another.
the thing has a bomb, or he's able to tether the bomb to it. I think it had a bomb in the background because, of course, Moonraker wants to blow up the world or the moon or
Sure.
something, right? There you go.
Look how cheesy this looks. It looks unbelievably bad.
I
Look
did
at
not
him.
like
He's just
Moonraker.
great song though. The least loved Shirley Bassey theme, and I adore it. It's a great
and it's the one
song.
it's the one she doesn't even like it that much, right?
You know, she doesn't like it because it didn't make her all that great money. You know, because it's a great one.
Can you sing us a bit of it? I can't pull it up, or I'll get
It's
shut down.
where are you?
Oh, that's it. That's
Why
it.
do you leave me? Yeah, it's a great one.
All right. Now this
That
is.
was-
Oh yeah, I love those string arrangements. They're gorgeous. Yeah. This is the Seiko reference H357. Now this one was interesting because I guess people were missing the analog
Sure.
dial, so they gave us both and for your eyes only. Very interesting.
I
Watch.
think
It's
the
got a
analog
bit of
does
both.
look good.
Yeah.
I like the analog. It actually does look really cool, really
It
timeless.
looks like a vintage, like a nice clock from an office or something, right?
Mhm.
And a Fabergé egg. See that? There's a Fabergé egg on Q's table.
I missed that.
Q always struck me as a big queen. But look at that shirt. That is a precursor to Daniel Craig's Turnbull and Asser shirt. Look at that, where the seams are really prominent, but the fabric is so diaphanous incredibly. Look at that thing. Wow.
Is that slightly see-through?
It
Or that just
is.
me?
So is
Ugh.
Daniel Craig's. You have to be utterly waxed to the high heavens to pull that off. You and I could never wear that.
Okay.
Never.
Thanks. No,
Yeah, I mean, no.
no, but yes, you're right.
You can't
For sure.
you can't be a hirsute man and wear a shirt like that.
Now it's getting even more advanced. This thing had a tracker in it, the G757. All hideous watches, I've got to say. man.
Terrifyingly bad. But you know
Ooh.
what? The shape of it, it's a little bit Royal Oaky with the screws and the angles.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
guess.
calculator.
See, it has a little red light.
Watch, it's a calculator, it's a communicator.
So this thing is a tracker, so it'll show you which direction things are in. You see, so it says,
It's a precursor to this shit, which I just bought a bunch of them.
"Oh, the
Air
the-
tags.
Those air tags terrify me."
They're so annoying.
There's
They're
your
so
Fabergé
annoying.
egg.
They go off for no reason.
Oh, you
You're
have
gonna hate them. Yeah,
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna hate it. Unless they've updated since I bought mine. I hate them. I mean, I like that it exists. Like I can track my stuff, but still, it's just annoying.
I got it for the people in my life who need it.
I get
Oh, I
that.
see
I
what you
really
mean,
do
yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Silly
reference here
cases.
was the T001.
T00100.
It's a little bit Terminator, isn't it?
Just reminds me of the Flight of the Concords.
and the-
001100100.
It had a little TV in it.
And it's
Little
color.
TV. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Universal exports. Yeah,
That's what they're working on. M's new project. Look.
right. Oh my God! See the gags. That's what. There were so many
It's like-
gags.
Yeah, very campy.
Look at
very
that. He's
silly.
somebody's granddad. But is he wearing that Rolex there? What is he wearing there?
I don't know. Let me see. It's
wearing a
another
chronograph.
Seiko, but I think it's like it's a nicer Seiko. I think it's a bit more
Ugh.
dressy. This one, yeah, it's a
That's
Seiko
nice.
Chrono. Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah, that's
Seiko
beautiful.
have some beautiful analog watches. You know,
But what would
Reference
be worse than that,
788.
Grandpa? Oh, macking on you like that. Oh, yuck.
My goodness.
Ugh. I'd have to see the bank account first.
I think that is actually like a classically talked about. Like people are grossed out about the obvious age gap with him and the women. The
Oh.
only thing is, it's not really the age gap. It's just that he specifically like comes across
Oh,
a little bit older.
Geriatric.
Not
he
like
does.
not like cool still, just like I don't know. He wasn't exactly right for the role.
You know what? Sean
And those
Connery
movies are
was
too silly.
bangable up until he died. The guy still looked like an
He
absolute.
looks so different when he was older. I was
He's
shocked when I looked at pictures. It's
crazy.
the mustache, I think.
Perhaps.
I was like, what am I looking at?
Some people just age well, like wine. Some
Yeah.
people don't. This guy is a very, very, fair-haired, fair-skinned. Sean Connery was a rugged beast. This guy never worked as Bond for me. I hate all the movies. I watch them and they're so dumb.
Yeah,
The gags are bad, and the sexual liaisons are grotesque because he just looks so old. And then
This is that Seiko there.
That's
that come out.
nice.
Isn't it nice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, simple.
I like
Well, it's not
it.
really simple, but it's
quartz.
just compared to all the little gadgety watches they were wearing.
Sure.
Very
Isn't
elegant.
it funny to watch how this went? At first, they went all out with all the future stuff,
Yeah.
and then I think they started backing up a bit and going, "Hold on, not so much, guys. Maybe on the inside, but on the outside, keep it classy and elegant." Which I suppose is the way we kept going. He also wore this two-tone one.
Man, no one talks about
also a
Seiko
quartz.
having Roger Moore locked up.
Completely, that was that era, that entire
Nobody
era.
talks
Apart
about
from
it.
that spinning
I love
razor
that.
thing.
That was pretty great.
And now we're moving on to Roll. I think he
okay.
wore. Is that in the next film? Let me see.
I could a Jubilee look tackier though? That just is a tacky looking Datejust.
Because it's two-tone.
Yeah, it just doesn't look good. It just looks farty. It looks old man farty to me.
Mm.
Especially with the gold crown. It's just too matchy. I don't know. And the bezel, striations. What's the correct word for that? They're just so shallow. The etchings. What's the correct word for that?
I think it's knurling.
Knurling, correct. Yeah, the knurling is just so shallow on those. It just looks kind of cheap. That watch, even though it's Rolex, is that a Rolex? Is it a quartz Datejust? It would be oyster quartz, right?
Yeah, it's not. That's Oyster Perpetual Datejust.
Right. It just looks a bit cheap. And then look what's happening after that. Oh boy.
Yeah, it does look a little
Things
gaudy.
are getting a bit weird. Let me move on. Oh my god, I hate these screens. All this stuff. Here we are. This one. All right. Yeah, these were dark times. I think, both with the kind of campiness. We're on to View to a Kill now.
Yeah. Dun
Oh,
dun 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 dun
the
dun.
stiffest rhythm ever. I hated that song with the orchestra hits.
Yeah.
Do-do-do-do,
I have a soft spot for it.
do-do-do.
Number
I
one
hate all
record.
that stuff. It stops the rhythm. I can't. Ugh.
We could get into a whole chat about the greatest Bond themes of all time.
We could. We can talk about that in a minute if you like. But yeah,
Well,
he's
you know
got-
what we're gonna say.
right?
So,
Hey, look at that! I like that jacket. And he's got it's regular button cuffs.
yeah,
I
3
think
buttons.
These
Look at that.
are
Interesting.
scenes with that Rolex or Oyster Datejust.
Yeah,
At least
this is
that
his
might
swan
be
song
it.
as Bond too. He looks like a member of Parliament. Do you want to know what my niece said? My niece is studying to be a barrister in London,
Uh-huh.
and she got into Parliament. They let her and her colleagues in to sit in, and she said she's never seen a room filled with so many dead white men.
Jesus.
Everyone was 1,000 years old, and he looks like an elderly member of Parliament who's going to go out for a martini and flirt with very young girls afterwards.
Now we're on
Terrible.
to Timothy Dalton,
Oh yeah,
who I quite like.
well, he's a
Didn't
great
he show
actor.
up in some new show? He was in The Crown, wasn't he? Or was it? Yeah.
He's
So this is an interesting
He went
one. I think it's a
Hoyer.
tag.
Tag Hoyer.
Yeah. And it's got it looks like
Very
this, but it's
random.
not.
The night
It
drive.
is. Yeah, and it's got a fully loomed dial. It's
Yeah.
PVD covered. And yeah, interesting kind of watch. Not very good shots of this in this thing. I'm going to have to share over a different screen. I don't know. It's kind of random. Yeah, Tag. Why would they do that? Maybe they were trying to get
This
get their
before
foot in the
Tag
door.
swallowed up Hoyer.
Right, before they
Yeah.
both. Yeah, this is a Seiko quartz. I don't know why I'm showing you guys that.
Yeah,
There's
I don't
the Tag.
like it. I don't like it.
Yeah,
Oh, it is a Tag. It
I don't
is
like the
indeed.
polka dots.
Tag Heuer.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't know they had Mercedes hands back then.
how did they get it? How did they do that? How
I
it
don't know.
just?
they
Well, I
get
guess
away with
Rolex
that?
can't have the dibs on that because it's Mercedes.
Precisely. Yeah, not so great. A bit meh. A bit
Yeah,
like
it's
Timothy Dalton.
true. Well, if you rewatch those films, they're actually not so bad. Oh, look at that thing.
Yeah, and for the
That
next
fetches
one,
quite a king's ransom now, doesn't it?
well, because it's comics.
Yeah.
That might be the exact one. Let's see.
Wow.
You know, yeah, I mean, Rolex has been a theme throughout all these movies so far. There she is. Looking
Yeah.
good.
They
It's
have-
not. I don't see comics on that dial.
No, I don't see it either.
I mean, why would it be a comics? Okay, now we're getting into Omega. I have to switch watch again. So that was really the end of Rolex.
Well,
That was
so he wore
And it was a
the
16610.
031 Hoyer for the Living Daylights, and then for License to Kill went back to the 16610,
10.
right?
Yeah.
for
Which is
okay.
a watch that was in production until 2010.
Sure.
2009, 2010. I've had a couple myself.
I love those watches.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
I
It's
love
like,
them. That's the Emmett one, right? That's the one he wants, or does he want
no, Emmett wants the one I just showed on the screen earlier.
Oh, does he want? He wants a ceramic dial one.
Yeah.
Oh, he does. I'll take the original anodized bezel over ceramic any day.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I think it's just the screen, the wrist presence is just so sexy.
Also, the steel has a different luster to it. It catches
Sure.
the light in a different way.
Was that not? It's the difference, not the 90411 steel, right? It's the what is it?
No, it's 904.
It is.
It's 1988. They
Oh,
went
they
up
have.
the 904L steel. They just finished the steel with a different brush, and it sparkles. It has a whiteness to it, a white kind of glimmer from the steel. Whereas I feel the newer ones have a gray, a slightly duller shine. It still shines beautifully, but it's a tad duller than the older ones. And it's not just refinishing. That's what I thought it was for a long time. Let's move on. So now we have the Seamaster Professional. This very first one was a quartz one. This is, of course, Golden
I
Eye.
thought it was a 2531. Is it 2541?
The 2541 was the quartz.
Oh,
The
okay.
2531 was the first automatic that came in the
Oh,
next
okay.
movie. Now I'm going to put on my 168 1623 real quick. So I
Yeah,
can
this is a
switch
beautiful
out.
one.
Golden
I love
eye
it.
and lace all leather. Golden eye. Written
Worst
by Bono
song.
and the Edge. Terrible.
Worst ever.
Terrible. Some people just shouldn't write Bond songs, and Bono and the Edge are two of them.
So here she is. This is the 1993, the first of the automatics. My very first watch and the very first luxury watch of many YouTubers.
Many people.
Yeah.
I would say a good percentage, a high percentage of enthusiasts, that is their first entry level drug. I would say so.
And
Beautiful.
I think you're about to see why, because this watch or variations of it were used in so many of these movies. Pretty much all the Pierce Brosnan, fellow Irishman, movies, and even the first of the Daniel Craig. So this is the 2541 AT in 1995. There's our boy looking good,
Oh yeah.
looking handsome. Nice big blue Irish eyes.
Sean Bean.
Sean Bean, yeah. Check out how much this watch was featuring.
Oh, it was huge.
I mean, it was a big part of it. Look, I had a little light in it.
Yeah, I think that they
Again.
coughed up a bit of cash too for the film. I think this was the first. They probably went to Rolex, who have more money than God because they don't pay taxes, and
Mhm.
they probably said, "Nah," and Omega was like, "We'll do it."
No, actually, it was a decision on the part of the head of wardrobe. She thought that a Rolex was at that point in time, Rolex had become too much of a status symbol. That Rolex was too rich for Bond. And that Bond was more of a burly guy, he was more of a badass, and he needed a watch with a bit more character behind it and a bit more general, not so high society as much as Rolex. So it was her decision. I can't remember her name, but she was head of wardrobe. So they moved
smart.
over. Yeah.
It is smart because isn't Bond supposed to not actually come from a background of wealth and
Well,
opulence?
not
At
if
least
you
that's
talk
kind of
to,
implied as in
not if
Daniel
you watch
Craig's Bond.
Skyfall, where they turned him into Batman.
Oh yeah.
That
Well,
movie
in Casino
completely.
Royale is kind of implied that
Yeah, I mean,
he came from a more humble background.
in Skyfall, they turned him into Bruce Wayne. He came from a manor house up in Scotland, and he had an Alfred.
I love it though. So good.
That movie just made me so angry because it completely rewrote the history of Bond.
Yeah, that's not good. But let's just not pretend that we don't want that house because I think
Oh
we all
yeah, I
do.
mean, the house was cool. They blew it up in the Home Alone moment with the.
Sad.
But
That's why
that
we
was
can't
what's his
have nice
face's
things.
first foray into an action picture. Sam Mendes,
That's right.
and it was the only Bond film to date that was shot digitally.
Really?
Yep.
So the watch on the left is, as far as I can see, an untouched one. The one on the right, they got their hands inside because this thing has a light in the pip.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Again, I want to know where the hell these watches are. Did they go up for auction or something?
He probably has them. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, they're just gorgeous, man. It's a classic watch. Beautiful blue. Of course, the helium escape valve that pretty much nobody needs.
Right.
They've changed it. They've used it here as a sort of button that activates stuff. Look,
Sure.
presses it. How disappointing must it have been? So many people did see this watch and go run out and buy one and then try and push that thing.
Oh, did they think that? They probably did.
Probably. Look, he's got a nice little watch collection there.
He does. Look
He's
at
got a
that.
Cartier there in the middle.
Cartier.
Yeah. He's got a couple of Seikos with two-tone Seikos. So interesting, weird. There's a Rolex there. Wow, how much was there? You know what? I didn't know she was a Bond girl until who was it? That Michaela, I think you mentioned she was a Bond girl. That's Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, Michelle Yeoh, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
she's cool.
Another terrible Bond theme.
I feel like
Ugh.
that watch is just so masculine and so
It
perfect.
is.
It's like a perfect looking watch. It's gorgeous.
So many
like
of my
Pierce
audience
Brosnan.
are so happy right now that you said that. 'Cause
Oh,
I always
good.
get great kudos for wearing mine, and I did a lot of videos, the early videos on the channel, and it brought in a lot of people who just, they just love their. And hey, you can get this thing for $3,000. It's not like a crazy expensive
No,
watch.
you can.
It's just
Oh,
everything.
cool.
Yeah, it's a bit loosey goosey now. It's flying down my arm, but I'd wear it.
Yeah, I'm even
wear it
tempted
there.
by it.
Yeah, would
honestly.
you wear one? Well, there is a 36 mil version of it.
Yeah, I would look at that honestly.
Yeah, you should, and you can. Most of them are quartz. I don't know if that matters to you, but you can probably get one for around $1,500 to $1,700
So
on
cool.
Chrono. You should look out for one. Yeah, so this is iconic,
Yeah.
and it's just great to see this.
He looks good in a linen
Put it on
shirt,
his
though.
wrist.
Look at him.
Mm-hmm.
So many.
Yeah,
buttons.
Pierce
It's
Brosnan
so-
is perfect.
Yeah, I mean,
gorgeous.
he's a handsome fella. Now, was that a black dial right there? It was, right? Oh, look at that. Well, that's getting a bit cuckoo.
It's getting a bit crazy. No, that is the blue. It's just the way it's picking
is.
up because the dial is quite matte and it has the
Yeah.
wave, which you can't see at certain angles. And sometimes it's all you can see depending on the angle.
Right.
So that is just, that's the classic blue. They never made it. I don't think they ever made black in that. Once they made black, they put the big sword hands on. They're the
Yeah, they
skeleton
did.
hands.
He's a skeleton.
They
Yeah.
changed it and they
Which-
changed the bracelet. which
That
is
was my
also-
father-in-law's first luxury watch too. David
Wow.
started the whole thing. Now he's got so many watches, he just can't get enough. And he's strictly an Omega guy. Strictly. I've tried because he's got a bigger wrist than you. He's got a 9-inch wrist. I've been trying to.
Oof.
Yeah, he's a big bloke, right? Not a bad. He's not fat. He's a big guy.
Mhm.
I'm like trying to turn him onto Panerai, and he's like, "Nope, I'm an Omega man. You won't move, won't budge."
His loyalty.
He is so loyal to Omega, and it's great. It's great.
Mark Gerard
Omega.
says Omega looks great and does on Oshin, makes his AP look a tad feminine. Whoa. That's strong. That's spicy.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
I saw another comment by him, which I won't put on the screen because it was a bit randy. But the answer to your question, Mark Gerard, is if that can happen to you, get a better pair of briefs and don't wear linen trousers. Thanks. That's my comment. I read it.
Everybody's gone looking for the comment now. This one again, now they're gone in and put lights. I don't know how they achieved that. They stuck a bunch of lights. Where's I guess there's no movement. They just lock the hands.
Yeah, that's a
There
factice.
there can't be any
No.
room for a watch movement in there. If they
No,
stick
there
a
isn't.
bunch of LEDs or whatever they wear,
Yeah.
lights into it. Is
Sure.
that what's her name? The French actress from
It is Sophie
Raven?
Marceau. Sophie Marceau.
Marceau. Whoa, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty girl. Pretty girl.
Love the theme song for World Is Not Enough. So
Oh yeah,
good.
garbage. I like it too.
Yes.
Shirley,
so
I
good.
love Shirley Manson.
Mhm.
But again, we're going through these films, same watch. They're
Well-
not deviating at all.
This watch is a keeper. That's hilarious.
What?
Oh yeah, my watch has that too, actually.
Look at that.
it's pretty. It's pretty strong.
Oh
It's
my
pretty strong
god,
to
it's
pull
pretty
it
damn
off.
strong.
Yeah.
So believable.
SMC4.
Oh, he's got a detonator. The crown seconds as a detonator. Look at this. I wonder were there ever any people going, "Hey, I bought the watch and I'm bringing it back because there's no detonator and there's no magnet and there's no lights." And I thought that's the false advertising. Doesn't conform to sample. Look at that beaut. You know what he's still got there, and I don't have it on mine. That makes me want to cry. Whoever got their hands on mine at some point, do you see the way the bracelet has high gloss little slivers, and then
Yes.
everything else is satin?
Yes.
But what happens is if the watch goes through a watchmaker or any sort of half-ass store with a basic polisher, it basically turns the whole bracelet into high gloss. Look, mine does not have. See, everything's high gloss. Look,
Yeah, the whole thing is.
the
Yeah.
whole thing, and that's basically even the clasp. Look, it's reflective.
Yeah.
Basically, what happened is someone just went up to a brush and just went like this and just destroyed the whole thing. And now redoing that, it is possible, like to bring it back to where it was, but it's like a big job because those high gloss parts are so slender, you know. So
Yeah.
that's like this is my first ever luxury watch, so I'll
Would you
never
bring it to
sell it.
Omega to do it?
Shit, I mean, I know the guy who's the official Omega guy here in Northern Italy. I could just bring it to him directly. It'd be quite a job. I don't know. I'd almost want to just buy another bracelet off another one or something like that if I were able to find one. Anyway, it's just a small thing I figured I'd point out. Here he goes with his bezel again, looking detonating things.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's
This-
cool.
This
the product
movie,
placement.
this was the movie that set the standard for John Cleese. Jesus
John
Christ.
Cleese. Look how tall John Cleese is.
He's a monster.
6'4".
He's bigger, I think. He's a big bloke. It just got so stupid. This movie.
Can we
with
talk about the
invisible
style
cars.
of the boys here?
Oh yeah. Well,
It
it's
looks
gonna,
like
he
quite a
looks like-
long top, doesn't it? It's
He
going
was
way
being dressed
down.
by Brioni.
Yeah,
They were the Brioni was the company that they turned to for all of Pierce Brosnan and for all of Casino Royale, save for the shirting.
Yeah, wasn't he
Uh-huh.
still wearing Turnbull and Astor shirts?
He
Right.
was still wearing Turnbull and Astor shirts, and he was wearing Richard James accessories as well. Whereas everything post Quantum of Solace was all Tom Ford, the whole thing.
Mhm.
He just because it was a personal relationship that Craig has with Tom. But if you look at the suiting, they didn't really change that much because the Brioni stuff is the epitome of Italian style. Guiton, Brioni, beautiful, gorgeous.
Moving on to your favorite guy.
Oh, this movie's an absolute piece of perfection. Everything about it, the pacing, the style, it's incredible.
The parkour, so good.
So good, so good, so good.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
really was
I
good.
have
I just recently rewatched it too, so it's
Yeah,
fresh in my mind.
It's a
It's
fantastic.
probably
movie.
my favorite of the lots.
Out of the Daniel, I mean, it's the best James Bond movie. Other, if you're gonna stay away from Doctor No and stuff, it's a perfect Bond film. It incorporates the best action, quips, comedy, all that stuff without going overboard. She's
And
hilarious.
it gives Bond a depth too. I feel like without being like emotional sissy, whatever.
Correct. Right.
He
he's
really
not.
communicates through his body language and his, his eyes and everything. He communicates emotion, which gives him. He's very
Uh-huh.
dynamic in this. I feel like it makes Bond more real, less of a
And it's
character.
also got that touch of comedy. Like at the beginning of this scene, she walks over, she sees him on the train. She walks over and she goes, "I'm the money," and he goes,
Yeah.
"Every penny of it."
Every
Yeah.
penny
No.
of it.
Of
So
course,
cool.
this is the
Stuff.
famous scene coming up, and you can even see on the graph here. This is the most played part.
Oh, look at that.
Unfortunately, the volume's pretty low. I don't know if I can raise it in any other way. Let me see.
MI6 looks for maladjusted young
I
men.
can't.
Give little thought to sacrificing others in order to protect Queen and country.
Queen and Country.
You know, former SAS types with easy smiles and expensive watches. Rolex,
Amiga.
beautiful.
Beautiful.
Boom. Sold.
Yeah.
10 million watches sold
That's
right there.
what they
It's
did.
so cool.
Do you remember what wine they were drinking, Ashina?
Chateau Angelus.
Angelus.
That's a bottle of it right there. I've had
There,
many.
there. Look at that
Yeah.
black inky gorgeousness.
There are better shots of the bottle, I
Sure.
think. Maybe there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a great wine.
It's a great
I
wine.
found one of those in a place in Chelsea, New York, one time for $160. They
Yeah,
didn't
we
know if they
drank
had-
it.
We had it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
How was it?
It was incredible.
It's incredible.
We're really
Did
into
you-
French wine.
Yeah.
Did you act out the scene while you drank it?
No. Should have been.
Who would have been Bond?
Now we had this discussion that he says Omega. Really, the name of the brand is
British
Omega.
people sell Omega.
Omega.
They say Omega. British Omega. All Brits say Omega. They do. We actually use the hybrid. We say Omega, and it's, instead of Americans, everybody says Omega
Omega.
because it's a Greek letter. You know, it's the last Greek letter, so it's got a lot of variations. How do the Greeks say it? We should go by them, right?
Omega. Omega.
Omega.
First of all, mega means something huge. And it does in English too. And you say, oh my God, that's mega. I
Right.
saw a mega B earlier on. It was huge. Mega. A mega screen, a Megatron at a concert, a Megatron.
Yeah.
So the word is no doubt, Omega. But then the Greeks, they push the O, Omega.
Omega.
Not Omega, but Omega.
Right.
And of course, in the alphabet, there's another O that's Omicron,
Right.
which of course is one of the names of COVID, Omicron. So the micro version, and the mega version.
I
So
guess
it's
the
the
Omega
small-
version of COVID would be the one that wipes us all out.
Yeah, if that eventually comes along, we'll be like dying to get it because we love Omega, but then we'll all drop dead.
Right. At the end of it.
Let me share back the other screen. Yeah, I mean, now we're into like serious bonds. This is super high class. This is the Bond we all love. Where the hell is the window now? Which one is it?
If you take a life, tell me just what you give. I'm sure you won't like what it is. I love that theme song from
A
Casino
lot of
Royale.
people were mad about him as Bond, especially before they
Ah, they're
actually saw
idiots.
it.
I was wrong
Yeah,
too.
no, they were mad because he's very blonde, bright blue eyes. He doesn't look like the slightly swarthy, tall, like Sean Connery type that they come to know, but he pulled it off really well. He's not that tall, is he? I feel like
No,
that was
he's
something people.
5'10".
Oh, well, that's still like, well, to me, it's
That's
tall.
decent.
That's tall next to me.
He's the
but
shortest Bond ever.
I get that. Yeah, he's shorter than the rest. But 5'10"
So-
is not too bad, really.
So this is the model that looks identical to my watch, but this is the coax version, coaxial movement instead. Up close, there's a applied logo. I hope they show some shots of it. You see, basically identical, but there's an applied logo. There's I think there's some red writing on the dial, but more or less the same watch, not on the internals. A much more effective kind of movement on the inside. But just amazing to see this watch just all over the place. And this is the Planet Ocean, the 600M Planet Ocean.
Sure.
So this one is in Quantum of Solace. Was that the most disappointing? I can't remember. Which one was
It's my favorite. Other than Casino Royale being a perfect movie, I'm a big fan of this. My least favorite being Skyfall because it's a flawed, messed up film that makes no Bond sense whatsoever. The turn up to Batman. I love Quantum of Solace. It's Mark Forster directed it.
Mhm.
It's beautifully shot on. It's just so gorgeous looking, and I think it's quick. It's brutal. Its pacing is terrific, and the whole thing is about water. Dominic Green is trying to control people by controlling water. And what do we need more than anything in the world? Water. It was incredible. It was a great concept. I loved it.
Just to go through these real quick, there they all are, back to back. I mean, almost identical watches. No wonder it's such a popular watch, especially for guys who are just getting into it, because they've been seeing it for years in these movies. The same watch over and over again. It's crazy. Anyway, there's the Planet Ocean, tough, rugged watch.
Yep.
Oh, there, by the way, is the coax version. You see the way it says
Oh yeah.
Seamaster in red, and it has an applied logo, which is really sexy.
Yeah, that is very sexy.
But everything else is the same. That's the old wave dial made with the rose mill and everything else, which is great. So there is the Planet Ocean that he just had on in that shot. Chunkier watch, goes down 600 meters, beefy, manly watch, good looking watch.
It's a
sexy
gorgeous
stuff.
watch. It's a super
Yeah.
manly watch.
Yeah, really, really
Did
nice.
he wear it on a bracelet or is it the native strap? I wasn't.
Well, there is one that became well known.
The Spectre watch was on
The
the
Spectre
NATO.
watch.
Oh, the
yeah.
Spectre watch.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
so busy with it.
Yeah, because
Too busy.
they came out with that Planet Ocean, the 232. I forget the rest of the references for Skyfall, and then for Spectre, it was the 300. That was a beautiful watch on the silver and black NATO. That was they really pushed. That's a gorgeous looking NATO, though. I will say that it is a beautiful NATO.
Again, doing the old Planet Ocean here, looking good.
Sure.
Really nice.
It's got a great wrist presence.
He wears it where I would wear it, practically on his hand.
And I like that, like I'm not a big fan of the old Seamaster bracelets, but this is kind of presidential. It looks a bit Rolex Presidente, this bracelet. It's not
Yeah,
that
it has a
different
kind
from
of a
mine.
different feel. Yeah, because you're looking at the three parts to it. Yeah, it's if you have it in the flesh, it's not very like a presidential, honestly. It isn't, but I see what you're seeing because it has three components to it. Yeah. There it is. Oh, this is the Aquaterra.
Yeah.
He's wearing an Aquaterra in this one, and that's a very popular watch to buy as well. It's got its blue dial with a yellow.
He looks great.
Seconds hand. Yeah.
Suit. Fuck. That's beautiful. Look at
It
that.
is beautiful.
The double knit tie, which tried to make a comeback, and that was Tom doing that. And it didn't work. People didn't go for it. Ray Fiennes looking very curmudgeon-y. And of course, the immaculate Judi Dench, the incredible, incomparable Judi Dench as M. I will lament her passing as M forever because I thought she was perfect. God, how I missed the Cold War. Great line.
I feel like that suit, it's Tom Ford, right?
It's all Tom Ford.
I feel like I like the fresh look. I really do. It's very
Mhm.
clean cut, simple,
Yeah,
but the lapels are a little bit too small. They don't need to be super dramatic, but
right.
especially for the modern time, it's
Yeah,
just,
that
they're
was
just a little
that's.
bit too.
It's funny because it goes against what Tom usually goes for, that 1977, disco look, because he loves the Halston-inspired fat notch lapels,
Mhm.
and he really did a 180 here, and he really went for the really small Kennedy style, early 60s. I think he was going for a bit of Connery. I really do.
Yeah, kind of. This one's giving off a little bit
baby.
of Hugo Boss. It's not bad, but
Hugo Boss.
just
Ouch.
a little bit. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's not bad though. Like I would never even blink or think twice if I saw a man looking like this
Sure.
in person. But I'm just nitpicking it because it's Bond and they have all of the resources.
Look at the product placement there. See that? He walks past posters. Look. Boom.
Oh, isn't that unreal?
The
Yeah.
Oh my
advertising.
god. I never noticed that.
Did you like him as a Bond villain?
No.
Javier Bardem?
No.
Yeah,
The last thing anybody needed was a gay inference to Bond. Bond is a straight man. He needs to remain a straight man. He needs to be a man. It's Bond. And then he's
Didn't-
like, he infers like, and then Daniel Craig goes, "What makes you think it would be my first time?"
exactly.
You know
I
what?
was gonna say
We don't need that. You know what? I'm speaking for the whole gay club. No.
Well, just he is who he is. There's no need to transform him into something else to make a
ridiculous.
statement. You know, It's
Right.
like, you can have a
Nonsense. It's
different.
woke
You
bullshit.
can create a different character. You don't have to take someone that's already who they are and change it.
Yes, plenty of gay icons. Pick one of them, and we don't need Javier Bardem to queen it up and camp it up and act a little bit like a fairy, which he does in that scene, which is disgraceful. It was unnecessary. I think that film is so flawed. I hate it. It's the most successful Bond film in history. Grossed like $1.3 billion. It was a ginormous hit.
What, Spectre?
No, Skyfall.
Oh, Skyfall.
Yeah. Spectre did very well. I think it's the second best.
Aquaterra on there. That's nice.
Yeah, look at that. That's your Aquaterra, like your golf. That's in that realm, the 2015.
Yeah, because you can see it has the date
Dated 3.
3, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
dated
the
3.
nicer one, I think. It's nicer than the
I like
current.
them both. I gotta say, I like them both.
Yeah.
I do like it. The dated 3 has been looking sexier to me for a while, though.
It's not just that though. The watch is a little longer and a little
Yeah.
flatter on the wrist than the
Yeah.
newer one.
Right.
So it wears, to me, I think it wears nicer. This is the one that Michaela's been referring to now on the NATO
Yeah, that's what I
Which-
meant. The Spectre.
horn to me.
It's too much. There's so much going on.
Yeah, it's a
too
beautiful
busy.
watch. Oh, you think it's too busy?
Personally,
Why do you think it's too busy? I think that's.
I think when I've seen it
opposite.
on a real bracelet, I like it, but I think it's with the NATO strap. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I think there's
I'm-
just too much going on for my personal taste. I
But
like
then-
it
yeah.
a little more simple.
It is one of my absolute, like, the knurling on that. I think is the most perfect knurling in the world, and I love a
Yes.
300. I love
It's
a-
coin. That's coin edge.
I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love the blue iteration. I love the vintage iteration. The bezel.
It's very vintage. Those straight lugs.
Oh,
I like that font on. I've
Mm.
also noticed that the numerals are on the bezel, not on the dial, except for
Right.
369.
uh-huh.
Does that have sandwich dial or not?
Later, the next version did. This one doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, the next
I'd,
one
I'd wear that on that NATO. I
Yeah.
mean, that's how it's sold. I don't believe it comes. I
does
don't
not
believe
come
that
on a
was-
bracelet. No,
Not that particular one. No.
I mean you could put it on one, but yeah.
Yeah, I've seen an image of it on a bracelet. It looked, in my opinion, better. But
I bet
you
it
know,
did. Yeah, this would
but
look
for
great on
me,
a
it's
bracelet.
just because my taste is just pretty. It's a little more simple. But I mean, if you're going to wear something bold, it would look nice in that sense. But it's just me. I'm not saying it's bad.
There it is again. It's
Yeah.
got the lollipop hand. Was that the first lollipop hand?
Yeah, it was. It's when they brought the lollipop back. People don't like the faux patina. I absolutely love it. I just love that vintage look. I do. I love it. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Oh, this one was a gimmick too.
Yeah. Oh, this had
the
a big time
red.
guy. Yeah.
Oh my god!
It was a
just
throwback.
like the
It was
old
an
one.
homage.
Throwback. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at those straight lugs, though. I just love that look. The way
So
they
do
just
I. I
fly
love-
straight out. They widen the watch.
The twisted liar lugs are not as sexy as that.
No?
It's like CK2915.
Right.
Even the fake one. I'll take it.
Oh, what
Yeah.
was it? Was it like was it a bomb or something? I don't
Yeah.
remember this bit.
This was, you need to rewatch. This film is nowhere near as bad as people make it out to be. It's not.
Now look at that. That's not something the watch does. See what it just did? All three hands went back to 12. Like,
No, it is not.
you know what does that? The fucking moon swatch does that shit.
Yeah,
All
it
the,
does.
everything goes.
It's true. That looks cool though. This is where Christoph Waltz, who is just such a ham. You know what? That guy is a one-trick pony. He's just done the same character in
When I
every
saw him in
movie.
Inglourious Bastards, I was convinced he's the greatest actor of all
Me too.
time. Until I realized that he's
Mhm.
just being him.
Yeah, yeah. 2 Oscars back to back. And this is where he shoots needle in his eyeballs, and then she throws the watch, and kaboom! And look,
How many
he's like-
times did they do that shot where
I
she
don't know.
throws it like lands perfectly in focus?
And it
Boom.
doesn't- and look at this explosion. It's such a pussy explosion. With his what looked like Ferragamo loafers got blown off. Look at this Omega Caliber
This is a
321.
chronograph.
Can you believe that? Look at that thing. That's what he's wearing in that movie. Oi.
Now this video was obviously pre the No Time to Die.
Oh, well, the No Time to Die was the biggest promotion they've ever launched, wasn't it?
So there
That's-
there's the Planet Ocean on the bracelet.
yeah.
Looking
Great. Look at
really-
that
Can we
shot.
talk about that shirt?
Gorgeous.
Yeah, that's sure.
So
Okay, there's
gorgeous.
French cuffs that look good in that particular shot because he's got the gun holster. That's great. Look at the tie, the knit tie. Tom was pushing that so hard.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Perfection.
It's beautiful with the straight cut on the bottom of it. Yeah, he's ugly beautiful. We discussed this earlier, Asheen and I. He said, "What
I
do you
couldn't
think?"
figure out, Michaela. Do you like him? Do you think he's hot?
He's ugly
He's-
and
he's-
beautiful.
He's very handsome, but some people, their preference is for like a pretty boy, handsome face. Some people like a little more of like a rugged, like you said, ugly hot.
He's
kind of
ugly
a thing.
beautiful
It's kind of
because
thing,
his
like a
eyes
little
are
bit of,
gorgeous.
like,
His features, his look at the
yeah.
everything. He's got dimples, but man, he looks like he's been in one fight too many. Been in the ring too long.
Yeah,
He's
he
a
has a look
weathered
like
looking
he's been
fellow.
punched a little bit or something.
Every girl I know thinks Daniel Craig is delicious. every
Well, he
single one.
is. He's just
Well, he's
outrageous.
ripped. That helps.
He's a man. That's what a man looks
Yeah.
like. His body in
It's
Casino
the
Royale.
biceps. It's the biceps. It's the shoulders. It's the chest.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
really great.
And here with a waistcoat, black waistcoat, beautiful tie.
Look at that thing. This is
He
the
really
opening
embraced it.
This is the
Sorry.
opening of Casino of Quantum of Solace.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. White.
That's
And he
every
shoots.
man's dream right there. Wearing
Yeah.
the most dapper and perfect suit and holding a big machine gun.
Yeah.
It's just like every kid, every 13-year-old boy is looking at that going, that's what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
That's his most powerful suit, I think.
That is beautiful. Absolutely stunning.
They
And
say
there's the
that's when
Planet Ocean.
they say that's when Daniel Craig as Bond really embraced the power of clothes, like fully.
Oh yeah.
You'll see like a progression.
Look at
and
this.
It's like his power suit.
Olga
Oh, okay.
Kurylenko. Do you like her? I think she's
course I
gorgeous.
do.
Jesus Christ.
What
And
do
she's
you
a
mean?
terrific actress. Look at that.
I like
All
him
Love
too.
very-
it
Look at
so
that.
much.
Look at that,
So
look at it.
good.
Look at it. She's wearing Balenciaga and he's wearing Tom Ford, and they're both filthy.
And they look so good.
It looks so good. Look at that. Tattered. Look at her in
So
that
cool.
dress. My God.
That's like a
Stunning.
700 mil zoom as well, which adds like a classy timelessness to the shot.
It's outrageous.
Just to be nerdy for a moment.
No, it's interesting actually.
So-
Here's the Planet Ocean again.
Yeah.
Looking great. They must have sold so many Planet Oceans from that movie.
He's
Come
wearing
on,
white
it's a sexy
Levi's
watch.
on that bike.
Are
by
you
the way.
sure?
Really?
Are you sure? Are you sure?
What, that they're Levi's?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I remember I was obsessed with this movie when it came out. These Levi's sold out so fast. He was wearing Levi's.
That's so interesting. They did so much like American influence. You would
Uh-huh.
think that they'd stick to more like
Well,
English.
Tom is from Texas, and he probably just said, "I think he needs a nice pair of Levi's to show off his ass," and he did. He got him a pair of Levi's,
That's perfect.
and he was wearing Persols for sunglasses. Better than the Tom Ford sunglasses, which I don't like any of his glasses. I think they're all weird looking.
I had a pair that were pretty good, but maybe
Yeah,
it's
there they are
on
again.
a female face. Might be
Yeah,
better.
I agree. For females, his stuff for ladies is beautiful.
This is a shot for the ladies and certain men. Boom.
Boom, that's the Levi's. Yeah, he's got a great butt. Looks great.
Big wide back on him. He's been doing a lot of those lifts.
A lot of
those
lats.
deadlifts. Yeah, a lot of lats. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's that guy.
That's how you bring in all the Bond girls with the wide
Sure. Built a
shoulders and
brick
the
shit
back.
house.
That's how you bring them in.
Yeah.
Next up, back to the
Oh,
Aquaterra.
we're back to
We did
Skyfall.
this.
Now you're
Yeah.
up to No Time to Die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going.
You-
By the way,
I love that watch.
Yeah,
I love
that-
it.
I recently saw one actually for sale in Vicenza. They fetch a higher price because of
it's
that
Bond.
dial. Because of the because of the Bond one specifically. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it comes in a different box and everything. You know, so-
Sure. It's pretty. That
Bond
dial is
freaks.
beautiful, though. Mm.
yeah. Those glasses are too small for his head.
They're too small. Yeah.
Agreed.
always do.
Agreed.
This is a
This one.
42 mil Planet Ocean. Gorgeous big hands. I need to get myself another Planet Ocean. Now we're into this special one that came
Sure.
out. This has the little emblem there, the crow's
RAF,
foot.
right?
Yeah, it's not RAF. It's government issued, I believe. Might be the same thing. It's government issued, but it's kind of weird because they would never put that on the dial of a watch. It would be on the back of a watch, and they would never sell something like that. Then they're only government issued, given to certain guys. So some people found that a little cheesy. The faux patina, of course, is very divisive. Marmite, as the Brits like to say, and
Yeah.
and of course, this thing was in titanium on the mesh bracelet, the Milanese bracelet. And this one it was an interesting. Oh, sorry, that's a different one. It was an
Yeah, that's
interesting.
the
There
Spectre
it
one.
is there. And he has it on in that shot. It was an interesting release because it was kind of a reimagined Seamaster 300M. No
Correct.
date.
No
No
date.
date on the dial. The Milanese bracelet was very interesting, and also this coincided with the. It was just before COVID hit was when this watch was coming out, and it kind of kills kind of initial sales of it. So it was kind of odd. There he is back again. That's that scene again. Sorry, we're going backward here. There she is.
This is a big hit. I've seen
Yeah.
a million of them in the wild. I've seen so many guys wearing them.
Very, very light. They came out with one
Yeah.
on the NATO and one on the Milanese.
Yeah. I mostly see it on the Milanese.
Well, that's the way you want it.
It looks like Till Lindemann there. God. That's, you know what's funny? The singer from Rammstein, who's an ugly guy too. Ugly. He's never beautiful, but he's mostly ugly. In some spots, Daniel Craig looks like him.
Really.
Yeah.
This watch is interesting because the deployment on the other side is really wide. It's really deep.
Yeah.
When you close it, it's really, really deep. But it is a very light watch. You forget you have it on after a few
Yeah,
minutes.
titanium's too light.
Yeah.
It's like a swatch light, like plastic.
Yeah. We need that shot of him with that dinner jacket, that famous dinner jacket.
Oh, that's easy to
So
find.
there it
on
is.
YouTube. There are dinner jackets, and then there are dinner jackets.
See if
This
you can pull up.
is the
see if you
latter.
can- see if you can find the clip for a minute because I want you guys to analyze that.
Sure.
So this has slightly domed crystal going on here to give it a bit of refraction. What do you think of the watch, Michaela?
I can't exactly say. I don't dislike it, but I think I'm kind of neutral about it. It looks okay, but he's worn better ones. I liked Pierce Brosnan's, the first one they introduced, the best.
Yeah. It has its fans. It has the skeleton hands, just like the Pierce Brosnan one. It doesn't have a wave on the dial. That is faux patina. So what they've done, what they mean by that is they've made the indices and all the numerals a little bit kind of faded and off color to make it
Yeah.
look like they've aged, but they do actually loom up in the dark.
A lot
Ready
of
for a
people
little
don't
of
like
this?
that.
Oh yeah, can you full screen it?
For you.
Something you expect me to wear?
I need you looking fabulous, so that when you walk up behind me and kiss me on the neck, the players across from me will be thinking about your neckline and not about their cards. Do you think you can do that for me?
I'll do my best.
The Algerian Love Knot,
Thank you.
which was such a significant part of these two films,
Oh wow.
because she was a spy. She was compromised,
Right.
and it was because of her former lover. Look what he finds, Brioni.
I love it.
There are dinner jackets and dinner jackets.
This one is the latter.
And I need you looking like a man who belongs at that table.
Get ready to
Fantastic.
pause the shot.
It's tailored.
I sized you up the moment we met.
Wow. I want a girlfriend like that. Here it is.
Yeah, look at that.
Hit pause.
Jesus. Yeah, well, doesn't get better than that, kids.
So good.
Yeah. Other than the scene where he's with the Turnbull and Nasser shirt in the shower, and you can just see it's made out of nothing. It's just so diaphanous. It's gorgeous.
Yes.
He's so young here. Wow. How long ago was that? 2006. Wow.
So is this the peak lapel suit or is this the shawl? I can't
This is
really
shawl.
tell. A shawl.
This is
Okay.
shawl.
I can't really tell in this image.
Yeah. Can I brighten this up? Hold on.
Throughout the
Bum,
years,
bum, bum.
they experimented with like wider shawls, a little more subtle.
I love
A
shawls.
little more structured. Yeah. that can
Actually,
be
his
good. Not
tuxedo, and if we're gonna really go crazy, is shawl. His Tom Ford tuxedo in the opera at Bergantz in Quantum of Solace. That's a pretty great one.
I have to rewatch that movie. It's been
Everybody
so
should rewatch Quantum of Solace. It needs a lot of love. It's a
long.
great
You're
film.
selling it. You're selling
But it's a
it.
great film. It was, you know what? Because Casino Royale was so perfect. It was such an incredible introduction to Daniel Craig's Bond. The aesthetic was so good. It had the world's worst James Bond theme ever with Jack White and Alicia Keys. It's the worst thing you'll ever hear
I
in your
know,
entire life.
So
It
terrible.
was so bad. Horrible. And she's so out of tune. It's just such a shit song. But the movie itself is gorgeous, and Olga Kurylenko's in it, and she's great, and it's just a perfect film. And it's a shame that because it came after it, had it not followed Casino Royale, I think it really would have done a lot better. And the opera scene in Bergantz with all the members of Quantum there, wow! Everybody's got their little cue, and they're all communicating. It's a meeting for the underground at a public in an opera. It was a great scene. And James Bond goes in there, he kills a guy in the bathroom, steals a tuxedo. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'll rewatch it.
So that's a Brioni suit.
That's a Brioni suit, yeah, with the Turnbull and Nasser shirt.
What is that? 5,000-6,000?
Well, it's custom tailored. You'd go to Brioni, and it would probably, and in those days, it was probably about 3 to 5, back then. Maybe a little bit less. I mean, we're talking about 2006. But, you can't eat the bowl of pasta. That suit won't fit you afterwards.
Are you
Yeah.
able to see another picture of him wearing that?
I'm
Or-
looking for one.
or- Yeah, just because I want to see the lapels again. I want to make sure what I'm looking at.
Can you make them out there? No.
Let's see. It kind of doesn't look like a shawl in this. Kind of doesn't. It's okay. I can look it up. 1 second.
Casino Royale, Brioni, right? Would be the best way to find it.
Yeah. It's so dark.
So actually it had peak lapel. Wait,
Oh, it's peak, is it?
I think so, yeah. And I'm zooming in here. I can see that. Yeah. It's just that it's all one tone, so it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, I don't think it's a shawl, even though quite often throughout all the Bond films, the shawl was a big part of their dinner jacket,
Sure.
dinner suit jacket. That was kind of an iconic thing. They played around with it a bit.
It's peak lapel. You're correct. 2006. He wears a peak lapel. Brioni. Yep. Up.
I just like the dramatic. You know, peak lapels don't have to be so giant and crazy. Like
No, they
Connery wore what was that? That cream
Oh
dinner
my
jacket
God, the cream,
with those
the off-white
crazy
dinner.
peak,
Yeah.
with the crazy peak lapels and the carnation. That was a very iconic look. Not as crazy about that. It was a bit too dramatic, but he pulled it off, of course.
Right.
You know what I mean, though. They can be a bit dramatic, but sometimes they're gorgeous. And I typically prefer them, but I do like notch lapels as well.
I mean, I like them all. I don't have a preference. I mean, I think in a dinner jacket, I think it should always be shawl. If you're wearing a white dinner jacket, it should 100% be shawl. In a suit, I think peak or notch is fine. Tuxedos could go. I think either. I don't think notch is a suit. I don't think it works in a tuxedo. So I'd say peak or shawl. Just classic, just the rule book. I like the rule book. I don't like the Alexander McQueens of the world that just go bananas and, change the aesthetic of stuff. I think there's reason why fashion has rules. But I'm trying to find a clip of Quantum of Solace where he beats the shit out of the guy and he comes in with this midnight blue Tom Ford tuxedo that is just blah, gorgeous.
Yeah, see if you can find it. I think we've come up to speed with all the watches.
We have. We're totally in on that.
We're not going to talk about the last Bond film, are we?
We just
No
did.
Time to Die. No
No
Time
Time
to Die. We're not going to talk about it, are we?
What's wrong with it?
I didn't
This
hate
is
it.
so sad. I have to rewatch it because I hated it when I saw it.
Right, because of what happened at the end.
I am ready to rewatch it and try to be unbiased. It's just that I had expectations about it, and they did throw in some wokery with it, and that kind of threw me off. But I'd be willing to rewatch it. I mean, they really did.
The wokery is everywhere.
I know.
I mean, what did they do with the wokery in that? Forgive me.
It might not be best that I get into.
All right, that's fine.
No,
You're
but
you're talking to the right audience. For
Yeah,
that.
this is
Don't
the
worry.
right audience because we
Yeah.
hate that shit.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, they gave the 007 title to a female, and she ended up giving it back.
Oh,
to him.
yeah,
It's just this
yeah,
whole
yeah.
Weird thing. I didn't like that. I don't know. It's not that I don't like females or anything. It's just I don't know. I feel like that was kind of a nod to feminist power, and I like how there have been strong Bond girls in the past that were badass, and they didn't have to make this point that they're taking the man's role. They're just being themselves as females and being cool and strong, and it was yeah. But I will rewatch it. It's
Jesus,
been I watched
my
it in
audience,
theater, so.
my audience are gonna love you. You're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I know a lot of people hit the shitter. Like my father-in-law was freaked out, and he hasn't watched the film yet, and he's such a big Bond aficionado because of Lakeisha. But you know what? He was dead, so they gave him her. They gave her his 007 designation. It's not like baseball where they retire your number.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I know.
but when they find out he's alive, he does get it back. So I didn't.
know.
So they were
I
just
tried.
teasing?
I think they were
testing the
teased-
waters.
They were testing the waters.
Yeah,
but
I
it
There
guess
was
it
a
wasn't.
rumor going around for a while that the new Bond would actually be a woman.
Sure.
That's not okay. It's not. It's James Bond.
It's James
Why
Bond.
do that?
Come
Just
up,
make
write
your
a new
own-
character. Write a
Yeah,
new
come
character.
up with
You
your
know-
own ideas. Make your own female character. Why do you have
Uh,
to steal someone that's awesome and just put a female in the position? It's just stupid.
Yeah, it's just absolute utter nonsense, is what it is.
Michaela's going to
Yeah.
be huge on YouTube. She's going to be the new Brett Cooper with
Brett
your
Cooper?
conservative ideas.
I do have a lot of conservative opinions, but I also think a lot of people are just so delusional on both sides. So I think that I don't really fit in exactly with just a conservative opinion. In fact, a lot of, I don't know if I want to get into it, but these trad people that are all about the perfect Christian family, woman not working and all that, they've turned on me online because first they were like, oh, attracted to me because of my content, and then they were like, wait a second, you work? Screw you. Like, you work hard, you run a business, you're an entrepreneur. Disgusting. You're
Oh
a
God.
feminist. No, it's so stupid that I'm just like, I'm so glad that you don't follow me anymore. I don't want you in my life or in my atmosphere.
Right.
But I won't go off on a tangent, but I don't exactly
Did you find the
fit.
clip?
I couldn't find the
nice.
clip, but here's the tuxedo. It's midnight blue shawl with a louvered flat front tuxedo shirt and a dual arrow hand tied bow tie. He looks
And you have your
very
shawl
groomed
there.
there.
You have your shawl there.
Yeah,
So
look.
pretty.
Yeah, it's really, look at the beautiful tailoring, and it's midnight blue.
Which is so much better than black.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
100%.
100%.
Yeah, for a suit, I just think black is just so I think a nice dark gray, a nice deep like this midnight blue is so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks good there. That's him in there. He steals it from a guy too. He goes into the bathroom and he, like, breaks somebody's neck. And he takes the tuxedo. Yeah. Now, this is from the last movie, another midnight blue tuxedo. He's looking a bit his age there, but look at this thing. Oh, look at that.
Now, what's that called? What's that style there called? I'm ignorant.
That's a satin shawl collar midnight blue tuxedo.
Do you mean the
Okay.
shirt?
No,
the
I mean,
shirt.
I mean this whole
collar.
section here. I mean, the collar and
That's
Yeah,
a
that's the
shawl.
shawl.
That's a
That's the
shawl.
shawl.
Shawl collar.
Yeah, you
And
see
that-
it's like soft, it's kind of drapey, it's silky looking.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
silky and it's a
It's-
different color. It's black.
It's black
First.
always on a midnight blue. It's black. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a big fan of that.
Oh no, it's sexy as fuck. Yeah, it is.
I need to acquire that taste now.
Yeah, it's quite beautiful. Yeah, and here's him
shawl
wearing
lapel.
yeah.
Shawl
It's
lapel. That's
super
what
formal. It's
the
super
lapel.
formal.
Thank you
though.
guys.
Yeah.
Lapel was the word I was looking for.
Yeah. Now
Got
here's
no
him with
help
a
from
giant
these
peak
there.
lapel. It's a bit
Mhm.
much. It looks overpowering on him because he's a compact guy. Look, he's gotten a bit. He's looking his age now. He's fit as a fiddle, though.
Well, every man thickens out a little.
Sure.
Yeah, I have to come around to that. I don't know if I'm into it. I think I'm getting the same vibes off that you get from the French cuffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely
beautiful.
a
That's
lot,
beautiful.
and it's not. I don't think everyone necessarily can pull it off, but
Ugh.
Is that the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen? Look at the fabric on that thing. Jesus.
yeah, that fits like
Like a
a
glove.
dream.
Look at that.
So
That
good.
is. Yeah, well, he's also got a 30-inch waist, Look at that. It's just, could you be more? Look, that's so mod. It's so Savile Row. That's what I love too.
Mhm.
It's Tom Ford, but it's extremely Savile Row. This guy is totally, look, he's got cuffs on the pants.
so cool.
Look at
That's
I
that.
wish you
Tie
could
is
zoom that
perfect,
image,
too.
dude. Got to
That's
figure out
such
how to
a-
zoom. There you go. There
And
you
such
go.
a
You really
powerful tie.
helped everything.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
gorgeous.
Let's
So
Let's see
good.
the upper part there again. Oh my god.
I know. It's just unbelievable. And this is No Time to Die.
I love the clip keeping the tie in place. It makes
Oh,
such a
isn't
big
the tie
difference.
clip great? Isn't the tie? Look at the dimple on his tie. That is doing a tie correctly, kids.
I appreciate that it's wide enough too.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like if it was a skinny tie, it would have ruined everything. It just looks so good.
Oh yeah. Absolutely fantastic.
And
While
he's
I
got
have you
the-
guys,
he's
just
got the
before we
note in
go.
his pocket. Sorry, go ahead.
Just before we go, because we're going to wrap it up soon, I want to ask you guys about something not related,
Mhm.
but I want to know about this jacket because Clooney was at that Mykonos event for Omega
Mhm.
earlier in the week, and he
It's like
turned
shark
up.
skin.
Yeah, no one had ties on because they're on the beach in the glaring sun in Mykonos. That is shark skin. Is that what they call that?
That's the shark skin fabric. It's woven with a iridescent with a shinier thread. So that's like mafiosi used to wear them.
Right.
It's very famous, kind of super glittery look. Yeah, I don't think it's particularly tailored well for him. He's a very fit man. He's wearing his watch very loose. It looks like.
He always
it
wears
l-
them loose.
It looks like that. It looks like it's about a size too big on him.
Really.
But I do like the chickering on the notch lapel. See all the edges of the way
Here?
it's sewn. It's beautifully done. It's like handmade.
Oh,
This is I don't know who made
yeah.
this suit, but it's beautifully crafted. The fabric is shark skin is very mafia looking. You know.
The jacket itself,
Yeah.
I like the material. I think it's interesting, but the thing is, it doesn't look exactly like a daytime.
No, it looks
jacket,
evening completely.
But this may be early
Wow,
evening,
Patera.
right? This may be, and yes, it is.
That's a world
it is a bit
timer, dude.
unfitted.
World timer.
World timer.
Yeah, you can see the little planet in the middle.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
The operating buttonhole. So this. Oh, ooh, you can get really close to the horns. I don't know. It looks like Comme des Garçons, or it's hard to tell. I mean, it looks. I mean, sure. I'm gonna go with Michaela. It doesn't look daytime. It looks evening.
This may be
Right.
early evening.
Could be,
maybe,
yeah. Because it could have been 7:30, 8 o'clock in
Right.
Europe. So
I mean, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't. It's a little ill-fitted, but I think if
charcoal,
they
shine,
take it in a
shark
bit.
skin. Yeah.
they took it in a bit. I think.
I'd like to see it. Is he wearing a pair of jeans with that? Because that would look sexy. That would look
No, I think it looks like
full suit.
Looks like full suit. Doesn't look like
Yeah.
jeans down there.
And
does
I
it?
might have worn a pale blue shirt with that instead of white.
Yeah, that would have been gorgeous pop,
Yeah.
especially with his swarthy skin. It would have
Yeah,
looked
because
so good.
the guy's got the most beautiful complexion in the world. He's
So
ever
good.
tan. Ever tan, George Clooney. Look at his
sallow,
hands.
sallow skin always.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, blue would have matched with the watch as well if he's
Yeah,
wearing
that
that.
would have been
Yeah.
great. Yeah. White. It's a Mall's fault.
Do you-
Yeah, I
do
think
you-
what it is. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I think the jacket itself is a little too formal to be worn without a tie. I do understand why he's not wearing a tie, and I like that look, but I think maybe something like a linen blend jacket or something for I don't know, it's on the beach.
Linen on the beach. Structured linen, 100%.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's not
They were
bad,
going
but
somewhere. They were going somewhere.
Hopefully he's wearing flip-flops too with it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, disintegrate into the.
I don't even
packets
know why I
there.
said that, guys. I'm just
Yeah.
Okay,
that was
guys.
a joke. Yeah, that was
We
a
get it. It definitely was.
joke.
Well,
To
that
all
was
the men
fun.
out there, no flip flops, please.
No
God,
flip flops ever.
ever. Unless you're at the beach, pool, or cabana. That's it.
Well,
Yeah.
George was at the beach there.
He's not
Except
wearing
it was an
flip-flops. He's
event.
probably wearing Ferragamo slides or something. I'm sure he's.
I need some shoes like that. I need some recommendations from you guys for something like that because it's hot here, it's warm here, and I refuse to put on sandals. I'm not a sandals guy anymore.
Sandals
you
are like
s-
Until I have
Birkenstocks.
tanned feet. I have Birkenstocks.
Yeah, they you know what
They're
they
like
make you look
Jesus
like
sandals.
pervert priests wear those.
I don't want to see your
It's
Birkenstocks. or
pervy priest shoes. They're just grotesque. You want a single slot slide, a flat shoe. It's a
Yes.
sandal, but it's a shoe. You can wear it to dinner. It's elegant. Always, of course, have a pedicure. That doesn't need. I don't need to mention that.
No.
But I'll send you some references. Ferragamo, the way to go.
There's
so many.
Ferragamo on Omega Way
Yeah.
in the city. So
Yeah.
I'll go and pick myself up. So because I just want my feet tanned. I have to get on the beach. It's my favorite
Yeah.
moment of the year is when I look down at my feet and my toenails are brighter. They shine because the rest is also tanned. That's what I want. That's happiness to me. That's all I need.
I will
'Cause I tan like a
solicit
Turk.
few too. I'll
Yeah.
solicit a few opinions on those kind of slides for you. I'll
Sure.
send you some. You don't
Please.
have to go with it, but just like my opinion.
Okay.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It was fun, guys. Thanks so much. Thanks for watching, everybody. Guys, subscribe to Michaela's channel. You think I've
Do
had
it.
that link
Do it.
ready?
Do it.
Here it is. Let me get the link. Boom, boom, boom. It's called Maison de Chatillon. If you like what you see, then you like what you hear, give her a sub. Wow, Michaela, your channel is growing really fast. Holy
I know.
moly.
You know, I have a really, well, I wouldn't say really great, but I have a cool video coming out. It was delayed for some technical issues I was having, but men's shoes. And I actually am showing even shoes at Bond War and like Skyfall, Inspector, Crockett and Jones. So it's going to be worth the watch. Just wait. Give it a second. I think it'll be out probably tomorrow morning, but if anyone wants to, subscribe now and you can check it out first.
Fantastic. And thanks again, Dirk. the
My
man,
pleasure.
the
Always.
man with
Thanks,
the
Ish. Thanks,
info.
Michaela. Fun as hell.
Yeah,
we love
so
to talk
fun.
about suiting and Daniel Craig for sure.
Yes.
We'll debut Oisin's new slides in a couple of days or a couple of weeks.
And his
when you
10
get-
feet.
Yeah,
Yeah, 10 feet.
For free. I'm joking.
and I guess I'll bin the Birkenstocks.
No, I'm
Jeez.
just joking. I'm
Dude.
just being harsh.
There's nothing worse than that. Those Birkenstocks. They're just like, you're going up for a retreat somewhere.
It's like
Yeah,
a,
they're like
yeah,
Jesus
like a,
sandals.
They're
like
very
a
Jesus-y.
cult. It's like a
Yeah.
cult of like just white people taking like this. They have an encampment in like a foreign like Asian country, and they all like they feel like they're so powerful, but it's just white people. It's all foreigners. Anyway,
I'm gonna have to
I'm so
burn them
sorry.
after that.
Don't throw.
I'm gonna have to burn
Just
them.
leave them out on the street for some homeless people.
No. Do what you want. You know, everyone needs to a little bit be themselves, just a touch, just not too much, okay?
I haven't gone near them this year as the weather got better. I'm
Good.
looking at them going, no, I'm not going near you. I'm not going
You
back
know what,
there.
Oisin?
I have to move forward.
Wear them on a date with a girl, and then see her reaction like live when she looks at it, and that will inspire
He'll
you.
never
for what
get
you
her
should do
reaction
with
because
them.
she'll never call him back.
She'll never call him again.
Well, I'm just saying when she checks you out head to toe,
We'll-
she sees
yeah,
them,
we'll-
watch her reaction, and then you'll know.
We'll
what to
sit
do.
down for outside dinner at some beautiful place. I'll be like, do you want a starter or do you want starter or main or just skip to the main course? And she'll say, let's skip to the main course.
Oh.
Then you know
No-
the date's going back.
No dessert. No dessert.
No dessert.
No
No after
dessert.
dinner drinks.
I have
Okay.
to early. Well,
Thanks, guys. That was fun. I'll see you all next week. I don't know what we're gonna do next week, but we'll talk about
Come
stuff.
up
Maybe
with-
we'll talk about summer attire and nice summer watches to go with that to match with
Summer
shirts
watches.
and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
summer watches. That's a good idea, right?
summer
Okay.
watches.
Maybe we'll do that.
All things summer. Summer fragrance. Summer couture. Summer watches.
Sounds good to me.
Summer fragrances. That's a good chat.
Everybody, subscribe to Maison de Chatillon. It's in the chat. The link is right there. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.